What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web here on a Monday night show where, listen, I'm just going to put it out there as we started off. We'll just do the three things and we'll get it out of the way. Bring the passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. It's not a show that you necessarily want to do. It's never a good thing to talk about a future Hall of Famer, possibly the greatest offensive player in Bucs history, leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the San Francisco 49ers. Say it isn't so, but Mike Evans decided today to move on to the San Francisco 49ers, a 3-year deal worth $60 million. We were going to have guests tonight, but I know how emotional some of you Bucs fans are because I'm just like you. Is it the worst thing in the world? It probably feels like it. John Lynch leaving, of course, him being the general manager, being the guy that got him away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, left. Warren Sapp left. You've had a purge before of players being cut, but this feels different, doesn't it, Bucs fans? Because, listen, all the rumors that were put out there, we talked about it. I think a lot of people had confidence that he was going to come back, right? But it wasn't the money. It was never the money. It's a clear indication of what Evans and his motivations are. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and he feels like the San Francisco 49ers are in a better position, whether it's the general manager or the coach or the team or the talent or whatever else. That's the way it is. That's the business of the NFL. That's the business of Tampa Bay sports. I'm telling you nothing you already don't know. Evan Longoria walked out, got traded from the Rays, and that was disappointing. Rays fans moved on. They moved on from a lot of talent. Like I talked about with the Bucs. Whether it was Brooks retiring or Alstott retiring or Rondé Barber retiring or, once again, Sapp having the purge of the roster with Brooks being cut and Warwick done. It's tough. But that's the business of this. That's the thing. It stinks. It feels like you got kicked in your guts. And I'm from here. So I've seen this before. And more than likely, it's not going to be the last time it's going to happen. But Mike Evans, wish him well. I want to hear from you guys tonight. I definitely want to get your comments. Want to get your phone calls. Let's go out to his agent as he spoke on, of course, behalf of Evans. The Buccaneers made it clear they would have loved for Mike to finish his career in Tampa, potentially become just the 4th player in franchise history to spend his entire career as a Buccaneer and ultimately walk into Canton representing the organization. Mike Evans' decision to leave Tampa was never about money. We talked about it. It was never about money. Because the reports were that teams were probably trying to pay him $27 million. Was it about a little bit about money? Yeah. Probably the teams are trying to pay him $27 million were the Titans and the Raiders. Because they have to overpay. But you also have to keep this in perspective from the standpoint of what's the real problem. Besides, I know Bucs fans want to say, well, the Glazers should have got rid of Todd Bowles. Well, guess what? They didn't. He's the coach, still, to the chagrin of a lot of Bucs fans. And maybe that's the reason why Evans walked out the door in the first place. Maybe he didn't have the confidence that this Buccaneer organization could be a Super Bowl team. And who knows? Maybe he didn't have confidence in Jason Licht, like a lot of fans don't have confidence in. They made some moves today, but it's not the big-time moves that a lot of Bucs fans would expect. I would just say be patient. Although patience is kind of running out because the edge rushers are coming off the board. And listen, if you let Evans go, which the Bucs didn't want to do, because according to Adam Schefter and other sources out there, the Bucs were willing to pay more. But that's not what it was about. What it's about is he feels like the Bucs are not in that situation anymore. And remember, you have to remember Evans, 12-year veteran, 11 consecutive years of 1,000 receiving. He's definitely going in the Hall of Fame. Whether it's first ballot or not, he's going in the Hall of Fame. He's going to represent the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The next 3 years, he's going to be with the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, I just said it. And he's going to be paired with Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, and that's the reality of the situation. You also have to remember that Evans is LeBron James fan. And maybe it didn't matter what the Bucs paid, because obviously it didn't. Maybe it didn't even matter if he thought the Bucs were going to be Super Bowl contenders. Maybe he just wanted a new challenge. Hats off to him. Thank you very much for what you brought to the Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization. The memories were great. Now it's time to move on. And the cupboard's not bare by any means. You know, we can look at this like the sky is falling, because I know a lot of you Bucs fans do that, and that's okay. That's what you do. You do that, and that's okay. You could say the season's lost when the season hasn't even started yet. You could say free agency stinks right now because it's only how many hours in, and already the Bucs stink. They haven't done enough yet. Or we can turn the page and look and see what the future is. It's Emeka Egbuka. It's Chris Godwin. It's Jalen McMillan. It's Tez Johnson. It's the re-signing of Cade Otton, which I know a lot of Bucs fans didn't like today. But I get it. He can do multiple things, including drop passes. He's got to work on that. So we're not going to have any guests tonight. It's going to be me, you, and Harry the Greek. And we're going to get your emotion. We're going to have Josh Allen on, J.C. Allen. We're not going to have him on tonight. We're not going to have anybody on tonight. We're going to talk about it, because that's what you do. That's what we do here. Maybe the Bucs are better for it. I don't know what the future is. I can't tell you what the future is. If I could tell you what the future is, I have lottery tickets. I go to the lottery stand right now and win the lottery. Does it look good right now? Does it sound good right now? No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't feel good. It didn't feel good when Evan Longoria got traded from the Tampa Bay Rays. It didn't feel good when Steven Stamkos left the Tampa Bay Lightning. But you know what? Tampa Bay sports fans, get over it. You want to talk about it? We'll talk about it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. This is it. And listen, to Todd Bowles and Jason Light. This is it. This is your proving ground. This is you've got to prove Mike Evans wrong. You've got to prove the fan base wrong. It's time to make moves. Trey Hendrickson, I didn't hear any bell. He's still out there, right? Old Rocky reference. Didn't hear a bell yet. I know there's pass rushers that are off the board, but that's the guy. And look, if you saved money and didn't sign Mike Evans to improve your defense, okay, I get that. Do that. Get that done, because they have the offensive weapons on this team still. I don't know if this team, I mean, you would assume they're not going to be better with Mike Evans, but maybe it's another opportunity, right? The eternal optimist in me. Imagine that. I mean, did you honestly think I was going to come on this show and be doom and gloom on the sports web on a Monday night? Did you really think that? Well, you're watching the wrong show. Maybe this team is better for it. We'll dissect it here on the sports web. Let's go out to my co-host here, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. We'll get his thoughts. We'll talk more about it. We'll read your comments and take your phone calls. Here we go. Let's go out to Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, in a day that I thought was not coming, but here it is, my friend. Mike Evans is officially gone. He's signed with the San Francisco 49ers. Again, we read what the agent had to say. We'll read what the Glazers have to say. They wished him well, what Todd Bowles had to say. But I'll go back to this to start out with it. Mike Evans' decision to leave Tampa was not about money. The Bucs were aggressive in their pursuit and presented what was said to be a very strong offer. It came down to a desire for a new challenge as Evans enters the last years of his career. And look, let's just put it out there. Was he going to get the volume with this team? I don't know, because you got emerging stars like Emeka Egbuka and Jalen McMillan and Tez Johnson and Chris Godwin when he can return. And who knows if he's going to be able to return from injury. But we've seen Godwin, when he's back, that he could be a top receiver in this league. So was he going to get that volume? I'm not sure about it. And then once again, I'll go back to it. He's a fan of LeBron James, right? LeBron liked to move around a little bit. He's moving around a little bit. I mean, good luck to him with the San Francisco 49ers. And this is the chance for Todd Bowles and Jason Licht to prove everybody wrong, including Evans. And how do you do that? You do what you can do in the postseason by being aggressive when it comes to free agency and when it comes to the draft. And you put a good product out there. And if you don't, then guess what? A lot of you Bucs fans will get what you want. Everybody will be gone, and they will redo this all over again. Welcome to the evolution.
Well, first off, hi.
How you doing?
That was pretty good. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing
pretty strong, right?
Buddy. Yeah,
I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at this. I'm just saying, Bucs fans, And again, I always say this, and I put this out there, and I need to put this on a shirt. I can be your psycho or your psychologist. You've seen both sides of this before. I choose to be a psychologist tonight. And I apologize to JCA. We're going to have him on. We'll try to have him on Wednesday. But I just felt like this was a time to talk to Bucs fans because I know they want to call in. They want to talk about Mike Evans leaving. They feel some certain way. To read the comments, of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. We're now on TikTok. So welcome to the TikTokers out there. Instagram Live. So we're all around the place. And then, of course, I'll put it out there. Well, I'll do this a little bit later. But just give me your thoughts, your overall reaction to it. How surprised were you that Mike Evans decided to sign with the San Francisco 49ers? Once again, welcome to the Sports Web.
What's happening, Peter? Everything okay, buddy?
Everything's good, Ben. Everything's good.
5 weeks ago, we were talking about the level of concern on whether or not Mike Evans was going to sign with the Buccaneers. And what was my comment?
You were concerned. You were definitely
on a
concerned.
Scale of 1 to 10. I said it was a 12.
Yes.
Let me be clear. I'm sorry if I rub you or the webheads that are out there. And I'm still standing pat on what I'm saying. And I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. The good Lord has had me on this earth for 59 years, and I've studied this game for the past 40 very closely.
Yes, you have.
Mike Evans is a huge loss to this football team.
I agree.
I was talking to Prez. He was at the shop. I don't know. What's up, brother? I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. And we had a very, concise conversation regarding him. And I think his feelings aligned with mine as well. This is not the same football team without Mike Evans. And I don't care what you, Jenna Lane, or anybody else is. I do not believe in my heart that this Buccaneer team was going to pony up $60 million for a quarterback in the final stages of his career.
Wide receiver. Yeah, and
that's right. Wide receiver. Sorry, let me finish what I'm saying. There's a reason for this.
Sure, go for it. I'll give you the floor.
It's just too much money. They have too many needs to address one need. So I understand where the Buccaneers are coming from. The LeBron James thing, I respectfully have to not agree with that. Okay. Mike Evans is his own entity. He's a much classier individual than LeBron James will ever be. Okay. He's got a great family. He's a great family man. He's a great role model, but he's not worth $60 million, unfortunately. But my level of concern just went DEFCON 5. Because if anybody out there thinks that Emeka Egbuka is replacing Mike Evans, he is. But if you think you're going to get another Mike Evans with Emeka Egbuka, you're highly mistaken. Because what I watched in the second half of the year last year, it looked like Emeka Egbuka was not a first-round draft pick. As a matter of fact, he reminded me more of an undrafted free agent. Now, there were a lot of underlying factors there. But what I did see when Mike Evans was playing, Peter and webheads, was a guy that gave it his all when he was running on one wheel. Damn it, let me be clear. No wide receiver in today's game plays with the heart and soul that Mike Evans did. This team will truly miss him. But for $60 million, hit the road, Jack. Have a great career in San Francisco. I hope you do really well and you get everything that you want to get. But If you're relying on this wide receiving core with Emeka Booker and Chris Godwin is a shell of himself. I was talking to the great Blake Anthony about that. He didn't agree with me on that, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me.
Right.
But until you prove me different, that this guy can stay healthy and run the correct routes, I don't like what I see. But what I did see with Mike Evans every time he was in the game, it was a totally different football team. I lay it off to you, Peter.
Well, and I also think that, look, Evans is 32 years old, right?
Yeah, so now $60 million is too much money.
But look, the Bucs were willing.
Sorry, it is.
The Bucs were willing to pay that or more over. That's the reports that are out there. So again, it wasn't about money.
If he was going to get that money, he would have stayed here. He already won the Super Bowl. That's why I'm saying that these rumors have to be skewed. Pete, I don't believe Jenna Lane's opinion is going to be any different than anybody else that's out there. A webhead, you, or anybody else. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you more clout than that woman. I'm sorry. Okay. If the Buccaneer Nation wants to get mad at me because of Jenna Lane, buddy, let me tell you something. She puts her socks on when she's going out wearing socks the same way that anybody else does. Okay. And probably doesn't watch the game as closely as the webheads or you, Pete. Okay. That's why I'm saying I call horseshit when the Buccaneers are going to give this player $60 million. If they would have and not addressed the other needs, then the general manager does need his head examined. Because if he was offered that $60 million, Mike Evans honestly left because of the money. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And again, stop discrediting yourself. Because I think you know this game a lot more than a lot of the pundits out there.
Well, and this is coming, and I appreciate that. You always have my back, and I love you for that, brother. I appreciate that. But,
$60 million. That's a lot of reasons,
This is from his agent, Derek Gilmore, and care of Mike Evans. Mike Evans' decision to leave Tampa was never about money. The Buccaneers were extremely aggressive in their pursuit and presented a very strong offer, demonstrating how much they value him and everything he has meant to the franchise. Again, people will go back to Atlanta and the Atlanta game last year when he's visibly frustrated and he says, third and 28. You've never seen Mike Evans like that because Mike Evans is a team guy. Not saying he's not a team guy for getting upset because he wanted to win. And it was disappointing to say the least. My comparison with LeBron James is he's been a fan of LeBron James and maybe he felt like, you know what, my brand is going to be bigger. And with the 49ers, like LeBron felt like his brand would be bigger in Miami leaving Cleveland because Tampa, I love Tampa. But that's let me go out to, yes.
Yeah, because there's something else I want to say. You can go to the caller, but there's something else I really want to say. He can hold for a sec.
Yes.
Is he on hold?
Let me see. I get him back here because I know he was calling in. So we'll see if we can get
what I was going to say was, we're not talking about the other signings that the Buccaneers have made that are very good signings. Let's not negate the fact that Anzalone is a sleeper. But you know what? If he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the better linebackers in the league. But the problem is he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Go ahead and go to the caller. Sorry about that.
We'll talk about Anzalone and we'll talk about, again, Gainwell, which was a good move. But again,
to me, it's the same type of running back that you currently have on the team.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with it as long as they keep Tucker.
I think, listen, they're not going to keep Tucker. They have not tendered him, so he's a free agent. They could bring him back, but they clearly wanted to get better in that room. That's why they moved on from Rashad White. Again, Gainwell from Pittsburgh was their MVP last year. Over 1,000 yards, purpose yards, and 8 touchdowns. Can catch the ball in the backfield, which Rashad White couldn't do enough consistently of. Let me go out to Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution. Mike Evans gone to San Francisco. Your thoughts?
Number one, let's go ahead and make this painfully obvious. Harry, you are 1,000% correct.
I don't want to be.
Does it break our hearts to see Mike Evans leave? Of course it does. But again, and we've all had this conversation again, the NFL is a business. It's a business. It's a business decision.
Right. And
I told my fiance today, I said they need to what do they do when the president of the United States dies or something like that? They need to have the flags at half salute in Tampa right now.
Well, look, man, again, I know there's a lot of people who feel a certain way, and he's been with this team for 12 years. I get that, and he's been productive, but he's also a 32-year-old He's a 32-year-old wide receiver that's had hamstring problems. He missed a lot of games from a collarbone. He misses games every year. From that aspect of, Listen, for me, and I'm going to go full screen. Look, if you let Mike Evans go and you sign a Trey Hendrickson and you improve this defense, fine. If that's where you're going at this point, which again, they wanted to sign Evans, but if they couldn't sign Evans, if they use that money to improve their defense, that's a good move, because the biggest problem of this team was not the offense last year, ladies and gentlemen. It was the defense, and you've got to get an edge rusher. That's why you got to go out and get Trey Hendrickson, who once again is still out there. So we'll see if they're willing to pay that price. And if they're not,
now let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
And Harry, I definitely want your opinion. If you don't sign Henderson, what was the point?
Great question.
I mean,
that's the question in the room. But hold on, man. Hold on.
If you don't get the pass rusher that you wanted,
right?
What was the point? What was the point?
What was the point?
You know, look, it's no hidden fact. People know I'm a Bucs and a Bears fan. Okay, I'd love to see a Trey Hendrickson in Chicago or even Tampa, but at what cost? Hold on, man. You can't sell your soul for this one defensive player. I think the Bears are a step closer to making a Super Bowl than Tampa. They're a much more ready-made team, but you still don't want to overpay that much money, because it's going to strip your team. Because let's face it, like in Chicago, next year at the end of the year, the Bears are faced with one of the toughest decisions they're going to make. They're going to have to make a quarterback the highest paid player in football. Okay? Yep. You can't afford that. And you know what? The sky's not falling if either team doesn't get Trey Hendrickson, because you know why? Because you got Kayvon Thibodeau still out there, and you still have Chubb, who's very capable of complementing any defensive line and getting pressure.
I think Chubb is a risk more than Hendrickson, and I get it.
Chubb, 8.5 sacks, and he was hurt. He's coming back.
No,
but Hendrickson, go ahead.
Plus, we all know that Miami team was a disaster over there.
Yeah, Pete.
I get that, but we heard the same thing about Hassan Reddick.
Yeah,
right?
No. Hold on. Apologize for that statement, please. Why? Because you would have performed better than Hassan Reddick. Are you kidding me, Pete?
Well,
that guy was a cancer. You knew it. I knew it. I told everybody about it.
That was the point of what I was saying. Bradley Chubb is coming off an injury at this point. He's been productive. But again, if you save this money on Mike Evans, you save this money on this. You sign Anzalone today, you sign Gainwell, you re-sign Cade Otton. If the move is to improve your defense, then you got to go all in. Joey Bosa, is that look? No, this team is desperate at this point.
You didn't hear me say anything about Bosa. You
heard.
You taught me about Chubb, and who was the other one I mentioned? Thibodeau is going to be available. Listen, Pete, trust me. This team needs more than one defensive end, and the Glazers. As long as the general manager has his head screwed on, and we can go back 4 or 5 years, they're going to do well in the draft, and they're going to pick the pieces up to make this team great again. One player, look, is he going to look good in a Buccaneer uniform? Absolutely, Pete. Trey Hendrickson would look awesome.
It's not just about looking good in a uniform. He's got 81 sacks.
I understand that.
Have a proven.
You're not hearing me. Slow your roll and just hear what I'm saying. You're done after that. You cannot possibly make any other moves to make this team better in free agency or the waiver wires that are coming down.
To say that because
you can't. The guy's going to command $100 million.
If the Bucs want to create cap, they can do it by restructuring contracts, which they have not done yet. They can still do that.
Well, but see, also what you have to look at is, and I know I'm leaping ahead of the time is. Then you got to turn around. You got to pay Baker next year if you're going to keep Baker.
Well, again, you're going to have
a never-ending roll. Isn't it like a vicious cycle?
But listen, this ain't my job. I can barely balance my bank account. I'm not a capologist here. Okay, and I've admitted to it. I failed college math, but listen, I know what they do over there. And right now, you would have to say that Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. Would you not?
Of course.
Okay. Would you have to say also with Jason Light and his questionable moves that he's on the hot seat?
Possibly? Jason Light is more in the hot seat before Todd Bowles.
Hold on. I'm gonna answer that question.
Hold on. Well, let me. I'm not asking that question. That was a statement. I definitely think that Todd Bowles, and I'll get back to the call in a moment here, Curtis. Hold on a minute. I'll get back to somebody was trying to call in, so I'll get back to them in a moment. Hold on, Curtis. if that's true, if Todd Bowles is on the hot seat, if Jason Light possibly could be on the hot seat, you could still make some trades. But the best pass rusher out there right now, the most proven pass rusher who has 81 sacks, I get it. He's coming off an injury. I get it. He's 31 years old. But if he's the most proven pass rusher and you didn't sign Mike Evans, and this fan base already is in an uproar with losing Evans, you got to make moves to be aggressive to save your job. And if your job is on the line, Trey Hendrickson is the guy, period.
You can say that about 32 NFL teams too, Peter.
For this team, you could absolutely say it.
And to pay that much, and you're right, he is the most productive.
Look,
but at what point? And if you think that his production level is going to continue the same or increase at his age, you're highly mistaken. Again, you're the smartest guy in this room, and it's not a doubt. And I'm not being sarcastic.
Right.
You're one of the smarter people that I know when it comes to talking football, Peter.
Correct.
Okay. But just hear what I say. At 32 years old, his production's not getting better at the defensive end. It's going to start regressing. If this team pays, and I'm telling you now, that much money for Hendrickson that he's commanding, let me tell you something. If it's $60 million for 3 years, I don't have an issue. If it's $100 million, oh boy, we got a problem in Tampa Bay.
They're not the Carolina Panthers paying for potential in Jalen Phillips. They're not doing that. They're not paying for that.
But they already did that shit with what's his name last year.
But here is
how old is Jalen Phillips?
But it doesn't matter. Like the Bucs have done this before when it comes to young. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to go in the draft and get somebody young. How do we know that? Oh, we don't. We do know that because JTS was drafted. Okay, so you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting a different result. Okay, I get it. Jason Light loves the draft picks. You love to go into the draft, but how many defensive ends, how many edge rushers transition over to the NFL? You need a move this year in order to save your job. You got to get a veteran. The window is still open possibly. If it's not, then you could slam the window because if you're thinking that you're going to be able to go after somebody that's a rookie and they're going to transition over, or a young player that's going to transition over because Boye Mafe is off the board. Adolphe Owe off the board at this point. It's time for the Bucs to get on the ball here and get Trey Hendrickson signed. And if not, then you're going with Joey Bosa. You don't know what you're going to get with him. He's 31 years old. Well, I mean, this is what you got right now.
You know what? Listen. If it's a round table here, I just want last take on this with the caller.
All right, Curtis, go ahead and finish up, and then we'll get out to the rest of the calls. Go for it.
I got a couple things for you. Number one, I understand what you're saying, but how many other GMs in the NFL are you taking over Jason Light?
Listen, I get that.
A lot of them now.
I get that. But again, this is not about the past. This is about now. This is about this year. If it's about this year and his job supposedly is on, which I don't know if his job is on the line at this point. I don't know. I think the Glazers trust him. I believe the Glazers trust his football decisions. But if Todd Bowles' job is on the line, is it fair to put his job on the line and not give him the pieces that he deserves, which he hasn't had? We've gone down this road with JTS before. It didn't work. He was a bust. We've gone down this road before Chris Braswell. It didn't work. He was a bust.
Down this road, we can go far back as Gaines Adams. I mean, not Gaines Adams.
They haven't had an edge. They haven't had listen. They haven't drafted. Listen, this is how crazy this is. They have not drafted an edge rusher as a rookie since Leroy freaking Selman. Okay,
exactly.
So if you're going to tell me,
that's pretty deep there. I did not know that.
If you're going to tell me that a rookie's going to come in here right away and make those contributions that you need for this defense to take the next step, I'm going to tell you, I got oceanfront property in Arizona. It's time for you to be aggressive and make moves.
Respectfully, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to close it out for everybody. Hold up, Curtis. Hold up.
I got one for you, and then I'm going to let it go.
Go ahead, Kurt.
The Bucs have not drafted a productive defensive end since Adrian Claiborne.
Adrian Claiborne wasn't even productive.
But
he's productive for the other team.
But what? No. But listen. What I'm saying is, he is the most production that you had out of any defensive end that we drafted. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Which is not very much. Curtis, thank you very much.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Curtis, for making my point. Appreciate the call, my friend.
Thanks, Curtis. Peter, just want to say one thing.
Yes.
The Bucs are not a Super Bowl away because of Trey Hendrickson. That's the point that I'm making. And if I'm wrong, webheads, please just type in.
Well,
wrong.
listen, if you're not a Super Bowl away, this is what I don't understand. Okay, if your mindset, because I know a player's mindset, I know what this team's mindset is. They want to be a Super Bowl contender. If you brought back Todd Bowles, okay, and he's supposing on the hot seat at this point, and you're not giving him anything but what you have, or maybe some veterans that are going to be rotational pieces at this point, then what are we doing here? You should have just fired Todd Bowles in the first place. You should have just fired it. Listen, if this is where you're going to be, I mean, you're not going to change anything.
Listen,
you're doing.
Man, this is not a garbage team. Okay, but they have
what's the biggest need for this team right now?
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. 6'7" wide receiver, defensive end. I'd have to give the edge to defensive end.
I think it's absolutely an edge rusher. You know why? Because he had 12 sacks in the second half of the year. And people want to blame the offense, and the offense is not without blame. Baker Mayfield is not without blame. But this defense has not had edge rush like you had from Shaq Barrett and JPP. That's why you won a Super Bowl. That's why the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, because you had rotation. I'm not talking about it, Curtis, what you're thinking about at the end of the day. You're talking about players that come in, 4 guys that rush the passer instead of blitzing. Let's go out to Trevor. Trevor, welcome to the Evolution.
What's up, Trev?
What's going on?
What's going
on?
How y'all doing? Doing good.
I'm not gonna get into like all the what we need to draft and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm just gonna honestly just be like, I'm devastated from losing Mike. He was my favorite player. I do understand it's a business, and I do agree with Harry. We paying $60 million to Mike would have been diabolical. But it still don't take away the fact that all those memories we've had with Mike. So I'm just going to take this day to mourn. I know we got to get on with the business of like getting better players, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
But I am devastated. Like I like when I was at work today, I was towards the end because I got off probably 2 hours after I found out. I was not in a good mood. I'm.
I can appreciate that.
It's supposed to be a Bucs fan. It's supposed to be a Bucs fan today.
No, it does. You know what? But it doesn't actually suck. It stinks that, honestly, man, it stinks that he's not with the team anymore.
Well, there you go.
But they have made, and that's not true, by the way, unless you're looking at what I'm looking at. It's not true yet. I haven't verified that.
Okay.
Not yet. I think that's false. I don't think that's actually came in yet.
Well,
but what I'm trying to say is you have to look at what the Bucs have done so far, and I think they've made some pretty solid signings. They're not having to break the bank doing it, and it's definitely made the team a lot better.
Right.
All right, Trevor, appreciate the call. We got to move on. All right, I appreciate you as
Thanks,
always.
Trevor.
Call. Let's go out to Bucs Basement. Bucs Basement, I know you have something to say. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly.
I'm trying to verify this, Pete, but I'm not seeing the truth to this.
I'm not seeing it either. So we'll update that situation. Go ahead, Bucs Basement.
Hey man, what I tell you when I last called you, I'm like, he's gone, and the reason why is Bowles. He chose Shanahan over Bowles. He chose. And the sad part is, you know how sad it is that Bucs fans are not even mad at Mike. They understand.
I can name 30 teams that'll choose Shanahan over their coach.
I don't blame him. So for me, it's like, hey, go for it, Bucs. You're not winning shit with Todd Bowles as a head coach, and he knows that. That's why he left. And we can't really do anything about it. But Glazers, this is on your ass for keeping that bum ass. Just because you gave him an effing extension that nobody told you to give him. You gave him an extension that nobody told you to give him.
Who?
And that's the only reason that mofo is here right now.
He's talking about
Otherwise,
Todd Bowles.
he would have been fired.
All right.
So you say this is Todd Bowles' fault?
I mean, I think that's what a lot of Bucs fans think.
How the hell could this be the head coach's fault to get rid of a player if a player doesn't sign?
Well, listen,
because nobody wants to be here.
They
know Bowles is not winning a Super Bowl. But Mike wants to win a Super Bowl.
So you don't think this has anything to do with $60 million? I just want you to taste
He
that.
took a discount to get away from Todd Bowles and his team.
What are you talking about? He
could've
took a
paid
discount.
more than what
Where
the
did you
Niners
get
did.
this information from?
Well, you did. That's being put it out there, right?
Oh my
right
God!
now.
Too
The
many
Bucs
people
were-
are watching CNN. $60 million, man.
Right.
$60 million for a
All right,
30.
Bucs Basement. Appreciate the call. Let
Wow.
me move on. Let me move on. Let's go out to Alex. Is this Alex Alexander?
I know who it is.
All right, man. Welcome to the Evolution. Your
My
thoughts,
boy.
Mike Evans?
Today sucks now. It really sucks. But to Harry, this is what Harry got to realize. This is Bo's fault. I'm with the last caller. This is all Bo's fault, and I called this out. And Peter, you commented on my post I made right at the end of the season when I called it out.
Yeah.
Nobody want to play for that, man. And it's my thing. Since we're talking about if Evans is gone, restart starts now. Levante don't need to get re-signed. We need to save as much money possible and go forward. Because the money we gave Darwin could be used now.
Well,
Do
we're
you
losing
agree
it.
with all the money Godwin's making?
Yeah.
All right.
I can't hear the caller. I really wanted to talk to him. Can
Call
you do
back.
us a favor? Can you please call back? Because I really want to talk to you.
Because all right. I want to do this because I know we've been taking phone calls here.
I don't think he realizes we couldn't hear him. There was something
All right.
going on with his
Let's
cell
try
service.
this again. Alexander, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I said.
Oh, that's much better.
Since Evans is gone,
Yes.
right? And that means to me, rebuild starts now. That's just me.
Right.
And it's not just because it's my Evans as a whole, but it's because of the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When he was the staple point of our franchise, that just left today. Levante played horrible at his position, then Jamel Dean at his position last year. And if Evans is walking away, I don't feel like we should even put more money into a veteran that's half of himself right now, respectfully due to everything he has done for Tampa. But I mean, at this point, y'all keep talking about defensive ends when our linebacker core is pure trash. That linebacker is more.
He's got a point, Pete.
Well, they improved it. I think they improved it today with Alex Anzalone, 31-year-old.
Anzalone's a great linebacker when he's healthy.
Who's next?
I mean, they have to look at the draft, and this is the reason why you listen. This is the reason why, in the first place, you don't trade for Max Crosby and give up those 2 first-round picks, because now you can maneuver either trading up or trading down, filling that linebacking position either in the first round, maybe being aggressive. I doubt it, going up and getting a Sonny Styles, but who knows? Maybe that's the move at this point, or you go in the second round and you pick up a linebacker there. But it's definitely going to be a younger team. You're definitely going to make changes. But at the end of the day, you've got to get proven pass rushers. And if your plan was, and you're not able, and you're saving money with Mike Evans, you've got to go out there and get the most proven
What's
pass
the caller's name?
Okay.
Alex.
Hey, Alex, I got a question for you, just out of curiosity. What do you think their biggest need is, other than, say, a defensive end right now?
I'll say linebackers, even with the sign of ours today.
So what would you
I
do?
feel like linebacker was our biggest concern.
Okay, that's good. So you're on the same page as I am. That Trey Hendrickson doesn't make this team a Super Bowl team, and they're going to spend too much money.
I'm gonna say one thing.
So what would you do for a linebacker? What would you do?
What would I do right now with what we have?
No, not with what we have. Who would you go out and get? Are you going to try to draft one, or would you try to trade for one? Do you want to try to go ahead and take one as any undrafted? No, I'm sorry, not undrafted.
Because right now the biggest we have it's a deeper. Well, I ain't gonna say deeper. It's a better defensive end free agency than it is linebacker right now. So technically, if we had to spend money, I would go get the defensive end and draft a linebacker.
Okay.
No,
So what linebacker do you think might be able to fall to the Bucs at their spot? Because Styles is not going to be there. We all know that. Who do you really like to be there?
The one I technically really want, but I don't know at this point.
Well, I can answer your question. I got.
No, I want to hear what he's going to say.
Well, he just didn't know, so I'm going to help him out here. I don't want to put him on.
Who is it?
He doesn't know. I say C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia. He's being looked at as a first-round pick. I think you go edge again, or you could go in the second round, get a Jacob Rodriguez, who started out as a quarterback for Texas Tech.
If C.J. Allen's available where they pick, I would actually take him. It's a little too high, but that is a good spot to take.
For me, I go with edge.
If CJ's there, I won't have no problem with that.
I would go with edge at that point. Again, I would double dip and I would wait for the second round and go out and get Jacob Rodriguez, because he He's got a Levante David aspect in him where he can cause turnovers and get interceptions, cause fumbles, team leader, comes from a great a program there from Texas.
I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
Because I want to say this real quick, because I do have one more thing I want to talk to Harry about real quick before I get off. But
go for it.
This is also speculation because we don't even know if Levante David still come back or not. So it all depends on that scenario. If Levante David retires or just step away, it's a whole different.
I still think he wants to play because again, his comments lately, he's coming off a knee injury. Can he still play? I think again, he's 36 years old at this point.
That was pretty painful to watch last year.
Well, it was, but he had a knee injury. So does he want to go out on that? The Bucs have afforded him the opportunity because we know Alexander. Thanks a lot for the call.
Hey, Alex, thanks, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, they've afforded the opportunity to him. They've already told him he can come back. Now it's up to him if he wants to do that. Do you think he has a bad taste in his mouth? He may walk away. We'll see here. We got some other calls here really quick. Let me go out to. I'm going to get out to all of our calls because I don't want to neglect, and then I'll get out to the web heads here. Lots of phone calls, lots of comments tonight here on the Evolution.
Hello?
Corey, welcome to the Evolution. Go.
Man, what's up, Peter? It's a sad day, man, ain't it?
It is a sad day, man. It is. It's definitely a sad day for a lot of Bucs fans, and it should be a sad day because the guy spent, nearly his entire career, 12-year career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and not only on this team, but in the community. And it's going to be different in 2026, not seeing number 13 on the sidelines and in the game. And is this team affected by it? Yeah, of course. They were 4-8 without him. But with that being said, with the perspective that I threw out there, maybe they think I think they were trying to sign Mike Evans, but listen, they didn't do that. So now you got to turn the page. Maybe you'll actually be better because besides Emeka Egbuka, besides, again, Chris Godwin, you also have a guy by the name of Jalen McMillan who at times last year really stepped up. So it gives the opportunity to these younger guys to step up, especially with the Godwin who's a veteran. And we know with Godwin being healthy, again, is there going to be a loss to that locker room? Of course there is, but there's nothing you can do about it. Like Evans has moved on. He made his decision to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, but I don't see how you can call yourself a true Bucs fan and not wanting Mike back. I mean, that thing put a dagger in me today, man, you know what I mean? And I believe it could have been done, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of moves have been made by Jason Light. Man, Jason Light on the hot seat, period, man.
Okay, so we know Jason Light. So we know if Jason Light's on the hot seat. We think Jason Light's on the hot seat. We think Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. Are you taking a chance with an unproven commodity to draft him? I still think you're going to address the edge, but are you taking a chance with not going after a Hendrickson at this point? To me, Hendrickson's got to be in the move.
Usually they take edges in the top rounds of the NFL draft. So I'm
how many but let me ask you, how many edge rushers, and put this in the box there, guys, if you know this, and maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe I'm naive, but there haven't been a lot of edge rushers that transition over to the NFL game right away. You need production this year. You don't have any time.
Well, Peter, why we ain't got Henderson yet? What's the deal with that?
It's still being worked out.
Because there's 3 other teams that are offering a shit boatload of money more than what the Bucs are offering.
Well, if they were willing, listen, if they were offering that, he already signed with them. What is going on right now is his market is too high, so there's teams out there trying to get his market down, and there's already been put out there that he wants to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they're going to have to make
I have never read that, but that's a really good story.
Adam Schefter came out the other day and said, he's an insider. I mean, he gets paid
I'd rather listen to you, Peter.
Well, I appreciate that again, but
I'd rather listen to you.
He works for ESPN.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? They're not God. Okay, I don't bow down to kiss any ring.
I get that.
Zero. But yes, he is an NFL insider.
He's
and that
an
may
NFL
be the
insider,
case.
And it makes sense for Hendrickson to play because he's from Florida.
But let me be clear. If the Bucs are offering him 80 and he's getting 90 somewhere else, he's not coming.
I mean, maybe he take again, the deal here is no income tax. So there's advantages to signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's advantages with staying in Florida or going back to Florida like he wants to do. Go ahead.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go for it, Corey.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay, all right. When Jason Light got Tom Brady here, was fantastic move, even though Tom Brady kind of looked at the Bucs and picked them for itself.
Right.
When Tom Brady came here, why all of a sudden we were so aggressive signing everybody?
Well, because again,
why
they felt like they had the window open there with Tom Brady. Tom Brady could definitely recruit some players to come, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown. But furthermore, what Bucs fans need to traded for Gronkowski, absolutely. What Bucs fans need to look at is the reason why Tom Brady chose that team in the first place is because number one, they thought they were one quarterback away that wasn't Winston. If they had a decent quarterback that didn't throw interceptions and throw pick sixes, they would have been fine. But they had a ready-made team, a defensive-made team. With the pass rush there with Shaq Barrett and JPP and the Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. They had a team with Evans and Godwin and weapons on this team and a good offensive line. He chose them. It wasn't just, Tom Brady, you got lucky.
You think it was more Jason Light putting that together? People coming here wanting to play with.
I mean, it's a combination.
I don't think Jason Light's such great of a GM, man.
Hold on. Did Jason Light not make a trade for JPP, third round pick to the Giants? Yes or no? Did he not sign Shaq Barrett Did he not sign Shaq Barrett to a 1-year contract and get 19.5 sacks out of him? Yes or no?
Well, he lucked up and hit with that part.
He lucked up, but he got it, right? Yeah. He knew. He evaluated. He knew. His staff knew it. Okay, how about Vita Vea? When a lot of people say, well, they should have took Josh Allen. Josh Allen had one squat, okay? You could say he's a franchise quarterback all day long. He hasn't won squat with the Buffalo Bills. They're still searching for a Super Bowl. You trade down to get Vita Vea. Would you say Vita Vea made a big part or a big move for that defensive line in that Super Bowl year? Yes or no?
But Peter, why you ain't talking about Aguayo, JTS?
I mean, we could sit here and talk about general managers missing picks all day long until the cows come home. Every general manager, even
all general managers will miss more than they hit on.
And Howie Roseman, who is it's like sainthood for Philadelphia Eagle fans and all NFL. Hold on. Why don't we talk about Howie Roseman giving up a third-round pick and then letting Jalen Phillips go out there and sign with the Carolina Panthers? Nobody talks about that. You know why? Because the majority of the time, Jason Light is pretty damn good and deserves some grace here. But is he under the gun? He may be. I'm just saying there's more good there than bad. We could sit here and talk about Noah Spence and Robert Aguayo and all this other nonsense, but let's talk about Ali Marpet. Let's talk about Donovan Smith. Let's talk about Alex Kappa. Let's talk about Luke Gedeke. Let's talk about Bucky Urban. Let's talk about Jalen McMillan. Let's talk about Carlton Davis and Sean Murphy Bunting and those players that made contributions in that Super Bowl year, and even freaking Devin White, who made the contributions that year. It was a huge part. Those are all Jason Light picks. And whether people want to say, well, that was Bruce Arians or that was that one or it was Tom Brady, give the man his respect. Put some respect on Jason Light's name.
Hey, Peter, you know you're my friend. I value your opinion. You made some good points. But
Thank you.
He got to bring it, man.
I agree. I completely agree. He got to bring it like I just brought it, my friend. What else?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm just upset, man. I'm gonna still go to the games and everything. I'm gonna keep my Mike Evans jersey, and we see what we do, man. I don't know what we gonna do, but I know we need pressure. We need pass rush, and the moves we making. I don't understand it, man. But we'll see.
All right, we'll see. Good stuff, Corey. Appreciate it. Use the second call. Yeah,
thanks, Corey.
I'm trying to call in. I mean, you guys forget about it. Like, it's Jason Light's the worst GM now. To be fair, has he missed on JTS? Yeah, he missed on JTS. He missed on Chris Braswell. Braswell is not, I mean, they like this kid, David Walker. They like Kalijah Cansey, but you still need a proven pass rusher. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, Peter and Harry, it's KR.
What's up, KR? How you doing, boss?
Hey, KR. How are you, buddy?
Oh, it's good. Life's good. Just been busy with life and stuff. But today is definitely a sad day in Bucs Nation. I know that a lot of fans are disappointed with Mike obviously choosing to leave. And it's just an indictment on how this franchise, with its current iteration, needs to definitely be retooled and rebuilt just because of the choices that they made,
Well, yeah. I mean, I just go back to this. Like the Bucs, they tried everything they could, and it didn't work out. Is the confidence here? Do you think this team is going anywhere at this point? Obviously, Mike didn't. I think that played a factor in it. I think, last year experiencing that second half of the year, especially against the Atlanta Falcons with the defense, which is the biggest move at this point that needs to be improved. That had something to say about it. And he just feels like, look, it's a better situation with the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. I want to be under Kyle Shanahan's offense. He may think Shanahan's a better coach than Todd Bowles. He may think John Lynch is a better general manager at that point. And he may be right. But at the end of the day, okay, the Bucs, Jason Light, Todd Bowles, they got to pull this together and they got to make this happen. Because if it doesn't happen, then there are going to be some major moves in the offseason like a lot of Bucs fans want. Now, right now, it doesn't look good, but let's see how this plays out. Let's see what the moves are, and then we'll definitely talk about it. What else?
Yeah, I totally understand. And I completely agree. I just feel that, with Mike choosing to lead, that really shows that us as a fan base, we have to rally together and say, look, this team needs to prioritize something that has not been addressed in the last 4 to 5 seasons, which is the defensive efforts, because this team clearly has offensive weaponry and powers to be, leading the league. But our defense is a part that's been regressing in the last 4 seasons.
Right.
And it's just like, I get Mike's frustration, and trust me, I'm a fan of Mike, and I've seen it, and I was like, this team is just not bringing it at all. And also the efforts of certain individuals like a Kate Auden, but to give him $30 million to extend for 3 more seasons for mid-tier productivity, I'm not a fan of that. But with some of the signings, I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. But now these new receivers are going to have to say, you know what, we got to step up to the plate and we got to become the guy now, because Chris is a long vet. We don't know how he leads. He's got to learn to lead. This room is going to be growing pains because he's learning something new finally to be a leader and in charge of a room, and also in the defense. We get like Levante may retire or he may come back, but we got to find someone else that can hold on to the reins and say, look, follow my lead and go from there.
That's it. You're absolutely right. Guys got to step up, and that's what it's going to come down to. And they got the talent there. Can they do it? I mean, again, Abuka run into a rookie wall, but look at his first half. Look how impressive he was. Now he gets an opportunity in his second half. Now, again, you get a chance to learn, and it's just his second year. We'll see what Jalen McMillan can do with a full healthy year. We'll see what Chris Godwin can do with a full healthy year, and Tez Johnson, and maybe they could still add to that. Sterling Shepard, I don't know if he's going to be signed or not. Maybe they draft somebody. We'll see how it all works out at the end of the day. KR, appreciate the call. Use the second call if you want to, all right?
Yes, thank you guys. Have a good one and go Bucs, guys.
Yeah, man, go
Take
Bucs.
care, man.
Let me go out. He said go Bucs, go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
I got to do it because I haven't heard a lot of go Bucs at this point. I know there's a lot of down Bucs fans, so we'll continue to take calls. I promise. I will read comments. Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats. I will get to you in a moment. The comment section off the hook at this point. Love it. Let's go out to Abraham. Abraham, welcome to the Evolution.
Yes, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer like a lot of people. I just try to see the positive. Okay, we got Anzalone, linebacker from the Lions.
Right.
I think addressed the key need.
Right.
And Kenneth Gainwell, man. I mean, he's way better than Rashad White. Let me tell you, I've seen him in the collegiate level. I've seen him in the NFL level. I mean, I don't know about his run, his pass blocking. It's pretty decent. So I know that Mike left, but we're fully loaded at that position. I know he's irreplaceable, but he's towards the end of his career. He's got a couple of good years left in him. So we got a good youth movement at wide receiver, and I know none of the receivers have that height and that skill set he has, but you know what? We will make do with what we got and be successful. And I just try to see the positive things. And let's just go out and get a dominant edge rusher like Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the move you got to make. And now, will the Bucs do that? We'll see. Again, we'll see what the market is. We'll see if it's too pricey. If it isn't, then I think you go with Joey Bosa or somebody like that, and that's a risk. And Bosa's been productive before. He's 31 years old, but he's off injured too. He was able to stay healthy. I don't know if he's that guy that you're going to depend on. Again, he's a veteran presence. Is he going to be able to get after it? We'll see. Thanks a lot for the call, man. Appreciate you. Use the second one.
One more thing. I'm happy we got Kate Auden.
Okay.
So that's it. I'm done.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always. All right. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I mean, lots of comments tonight, lots of passion. I love it. Here on the Monday night after the big news of the day, Mike Evans leaves for the San Francisco 49ers. Your thoughts? Again, what we learned is it was not about money. Harry disagrees with that, but again, it's being put out there by multiple sources. So we'll It was a little bit about money. I definitely think there's incentives in there, but was it all about money? It wasn't. All right, let's go out to Alex. Alex, welcome to the Evolution.
Evening, guys.
What's going on, boss?
Not much. As I always say, I want to say I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you.
You keep giving us a show every week. So, listen, I'm going to read something from the great Greg Godman himself, and you know he's very tied to the Bucs.
Of course.
And it's going to go into my thing I'm going to say, and then that's all I'm going to leave it as.
Go for it.
To see Evans take a deal for $14 million a year from the 49ers, which, by the way, you're going to look at $60 million, but you ain't going to look at the fact that Cali has state taxes. So
Correct.
keep that in your mind.
Correct.
From a year from the Niners, 60 cents on the dollar from his last Bucs contract before incentives. Makes me think he wanted out and Tampa Bay wasn't going to be able to re-sign him. They could have matched or exceeded that without any heavy lifting. Now, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off Harry the Greek. This is not on Todd Bowles. This is not on Jason Light. This is completely on the Glazers. And this is, if you do not take that money and get a Trey Hendrickson, this is a cover-up. And I'm going to tell you why this is a cover-up. This is a cover-up because they screwed up, in my opinion, by letting two major OCs go, one which took the Jacksonville Jags to one of their best seasons they've had in years. And I just think that I believe all these fans are right, not because of Todd Bowles, not because of Jason Light, but the fact is these players, if you did not see that, what was that? They won one game in their last 9 games. If you didn't see that a team doesn't want to play for their head coach, you saw it. So I'm sorry, man. If you don't get a Trey Hendrickson or some proven player to make a difference, what was the point in getting rid of a Hall of Famer, Mike Evans, unless Mike Evans showed you in that 3rd and 28 tantrum he had in the tunnel that these players have given up on this head coach? Come on, man.
I don't know. Listen, I don't. Listen, I think
he let the entire coaching staff go.
I get that.
It's all a cover-up.
I get that. But I don't think, again, that the players have given up. I just think, again, they weren't in the right situations. It was definitely on the players. It wasn't just on the coach. The coach has to wear that. But to say the players have given up, I don't know if the players have given up. He just feels like the better situation was the San Francisco 49ers right now instead of the Bucs. He could be right. Again, I'm not disputing that. I could sit here and tell you all day long, you know, Kyle Shanahan, the coaching job that he did for the 49ers with dealing with all the injuries, with the Bucs having their fair share of injuries, but Shanahan being a better coach in that situation, having a better record, he chose them, and he chose it for 3 years and was right.
Absolutely. And on the flip side too, I did say this last week to you too. You know, the Bucs and to kind of go into why maybe Mike did leave is, I talked to you about this last week. Maybe Mike sees himself getting more targets. I don't think it was about the money. If Mike didn't show you in his 11 years or 12 years in Tampa Bay that it wasn't about the money, this ain't about the money.
Is he going to listen? Let me ask you.
Is one of the best wide receivers in the game,
Alex,
and he wants to get as many yards as he can.
You make a good point, right? If it's about targets, which it's never been about Mike Evans and targets, but let's say it's about targets. It's about him getting 1,000 yards and getting into the top 10, which a lot of people have talked about. Evans being in the top 10 so he can secure his place in the Hall of Fame. If that's what it's about, do you think he's going to get that here with the Bucs?
No.
Why?
The wide receiver room is crowded.
There it is.
But I am going to say this though too. That doesn't, in my opinion, that doesn't really define the fact that these players don't want to play for this coach.
Well, again, I think that's just. I think
I'm not ready to go there, but
I've got a shaking his head, but
no, I've got to rebuttal something here.
Alex,
let me be clear when I say this. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Let me be clear, and I just want to,
pounce
on something. His targets are not going to go up because he's going to Frisco. Let me be clear. He's going to be the featured wide receiver. They have a running back there by the name of Christian McCaffrey, who's going to touch the ball minimum of 30 to 35 times a game, whether he's running or receiving. There's only 50 to 60 plays. Okay? You still have George Kittle. You still have other wide receivers. Again, It's not going to be like here as it is in Tampa. Trust me, he's going to get the bulk of the receptions here in Tampa. He's not going to get as many in San Fran. That's just my opinion.
Well, and then I would say this about Evans. I think because of what you just said, look, they have receivers there in Jennings and Pearsall and Kittle, but he can't stay healthy, and neither can Evans. But if Evans can stay healthy, what he's looking at, and he's all about the game, the history of the game, right? He's about the 1,000-yard receiving record. And again, he knows that if he gets in that top 10, that nobody can dispute that he would be in the Hall of Fame. So if that was the reason, then I can understand it. Let's go out to realtor David Zuzman. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek. Go.
So hello, Peter, and hello, Harry.
Hello.
I think whatever happens today is just a direct result of Jason White's inability to have a solid plan for a very special player. He made it very easy, right? Evans, he said that he was going to go with a team that would show him a clear path to Super Bowl victory. And once again, Jason White failed to do that. And we just have to be honest. Like Jason White has been failing miserably for the last 5 years. Our cornerback room got worse in the last 5 years. Our middle linebacker room
got worse. Wait, hold on.
Let him finish. This is interesting. Let me hear what he's saying.
Hold on. That's erroneous information. Your quarterback room got worse.
Cornerback, not
quarterback.
Cornerback.
Okay, corner. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we went from young and promising to hurt and bad and overpaid in the case of Zion McCollum. And same thing with the edge room. And I think we have to look deep into this, because I see a lot of people blaming on Todd Bowles. And I don't think Todd Bowles is really the problem. Like, how can you make a defense elite when you have bad middle linebackers, bad edge rushers, shaky cornerback room, no depth at the D-line? The last D-line that Jason Light brought to the team that was good was Vita Vea in 2018.
Whoa, wait a minute. So Shaq Barrett and JPP weren't good?
Yeah, but that was 2019. So
that was a Super Bowl team. I mean, that was the team that you built up. I mean, come on. You again. Okay. I'll let you talk, and I'll let you go and say.
The man has got some solid points. You may be disagreeing with him, but I've got to agree with about. It was not just Vita Vea.
Wait a minute. It was not just Vita Vea. It was an Ndamukong Suh. It was JPP. It was Shaq Barrett. That's the reason why you won the Super Bowl in the first place. You could talk about the linebackers in the back end again until the cows come home. But if you can listen, it's all predicated on the pass rush. If you rush from 4, which is what the Bucs are trying to get back to, which is the reason why you go for Hendrickson in the first place, because he can help that out. You rush 4, which is what the Seattle Seahawks showed you, which is a lot of teams showed you. You can rush from 4 and get after the quarterback. That makes your defense elite. That helps out your linebacking core. That makes your back end look that much better. There you go.
Okay, but my last point. There is a secret formula for winning Super Bowl teams in the NFL. And it's typically like that. You find a quarterback while he's young and he's not demanding a high salary. You build a solid offensive line, and then you get the special pieces to be a true contender. That's always the case. We found Baker Mayfield. We got him into a relatively cheap contract, but Jason Light, once again, got trigger shy and was unable to do what was necessary for us to be a serious contender, and that's why we lost Mike Evans. So that's my last point.
Okay. Well, to that point.
That's it.
Okay. But to that point, though, everybody wants to say, listen, and I'm going to keep them on the line here. You could be you could be like the Minnesota Vikings, right? You had a quarterback in Sam Darnold who led them to 14 wins, and you decided to go with the young quarterback that didn't make a lot of money, and J.J. McCarthy. And guess what?
Which I still think to this day is funny.
And Sam Darnold, guess what he did, buddy? He went to the Seattle Seahawks and won a Super Bowl with them. So all this nonsense about going with the young quarterback, which you got to have at the end of the day, is you can't turn over the ball, which Baker has a problem with. You got to stay healthy, which is what Seattle was able to do. or you got to have the great coaching to overcome those injuries, which is what Kyle Shanahan did.
But Peter, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it was a mistake to have.
Here's the thing. This organization has been as good of drafting edge rushers to come in here to draft young quarterbacks and develop them. They're better at getting a veteran. You got a veteran in Baker Mayfield. He's put up numbers. I get it. He has his flaws. All quarterbacks have their flaws. Tom Brady's not in the league anymore, right? And even he had some of his flaws. But Baker Mayfield, he has flaws, but he's also been productive.
I'm not blaming on Baker Mayfield.
But what you just said is you got to have
a good quarterback.
Okay, so listen, if you were the general manager in the Minnesota Vikings, to your point, you would have gotten rid of Sam Darnold because he was too expensive and he was a veteran quarterback. You would have gone with the rookie, and guess what? You would have been fired as a general manager, like the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings is right now. Realtor David Usman, appreciate the call. Thanks a lot. Use the second call, right?
All right. So,
I mean, come on, man. Didn't Sam Darnold just show you that if you don't turn over the ball and you run the ball and you play defense and you rush from 4, that you can win a Super Bowl? Have we not learned anything? Ladies and gentlemen, when the NFL changed over? Oh, the quarterback and the wide receivers and the running back. What does it come down to? Defense wins championships. Get after the quarterback with 4. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Let's go out to these comments, and then I will get you out of here, Harry, because I know that you have other things to – and somebody texted me right now. Let somebody finish the point. Look, when you decide to do a show like I do, you can tell me how to do my show. Until then, go to hell. Now, evening, Peter and crew. What a bummer of a day for us Bucs fans. This is a sign to either Bowles. Get it right on him. Light or gone. They got to replace MK13 production. Also, not a fan of the Otten re-sign. Otten re-signing, by the way. Did you like that move?
I'm not.
59 catches the last 2 years?
No.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think he's a better tight end than what he's showing out there.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, what's up, Peter? What's up, Harry? This is Tristan.
What's up, Tristan? How you doing? How do you feel about Mike
Tristan,
Evans being with the San Francisco 49ers now?
Now, let me take you back to the future real quick. 2 years ago, before we re-signed Chris Godwin, I said there's no need to sign Chris Godwin.
I like this guy.
There's no reason to re-sign Chris Godwin if you plan to keep Mike Evans.
Okay.
The problem is that we encounter is that it's seeming more and more like Jason Light is only looking for the next year. You have to draft with 3 years in mind.
Only drafting for what?
I don't think that Jason Light has managed to do that. And reason I tell you this, Buddy called in, he said that the quarterback is the best way to go, that you have to get a young quarterback. But we see with the Rams, we see with the 49ers, we see with that whole NFC West, they're getting retreads. They have a team built around already, and the quarterback is the missing piece, just like what we did. The problem that we're having is we're not accumulating free agents, and we're not getting rid of free agents just because of production. So we're not bringing in talent, or we're not getting rid of talent early.
I need to interject there to a couple of points that you just made.
Supposed to be doing.
Hold up, man. I need to interject with a couple of points that you just made. Only 2 of the teams right now in the NFC West have retreaded quarterbacks, and one of them just so happens to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not ready to go to Sam Darnold's a Hall of Fame quarterback. To me, he's an average quarterback that plays extremely well in a particular system. The Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals they don't have, I mean, there might have a retread there coming up, but let's be clear. Purdy is not a retread quarterback. Okay. He's just not. And teams, and I have to respectfully disagree with the fact that you're saying because you're not involved in free agency. Nobody. Your best way to build the team is through the NFL draft. The end. Because you're going to always be younger and you're going to be more inclined to win in now situations. You only get involved in free agency to make that big splash when you're this close to climbing the top of the hill. That's just all I'm saying. But no, man, you don't need to constantly get involved in free agents. No, you really don't.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now, here's the thing that people don't consider again. This is you, and you keep on going back to 2 years. Did they not have a Brady cap hit?
They did.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so they had to deal with that. So that precludes you from going after and getting free agents, high money free agents, right? Then on top of it, you got to sign your own players, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that right there, they're focused on signing their own players, and maybe to a fault, because what Zion McCollum showed on the field last year wasn't great. Baker Mayfield questionable in the second half of the year. Tristan Wirfs hurt, doesn't look good. Chris Godwin hurt. I understand where they're coming from. You're right. They definitely need to fill those positions. So their plan was, or his plan was, you signed Hassan Reddick to $14 million. It didn't work out. You drafted Chris Braswell to double dip. It didn't work out at this point. You drafted a JTS. It didn't work out. So now you're basically stuck with, again, having that position of need. And that's where you have to go with Trey Hendrickson. That's why I continue to say, or a proven pass rusher, whether it's Hendrickson, Joey Bosa. I don't know if that's going to get it done. I don't know if that's enough at this point for that defense to turn it around. They've got to make wholesale changes, but I definitely think Hendrickson would definitely make an impact on that line and help everybody else out, because he's a proven pass rusher before the injury, before the 4.5 sacks. He had double-digit sacks 2 straight years of 17.5. Did you know that? Okay.
But you have to kind of look at what he was playing with. Like, that matters. Like, the team matters. There was nobody else on that Cincinnati front line but Trey Hendrickson. And they were playing against teams that were usually, they were ahead or they were very far behind.
Come on, Tristan. Come on. This guy's been a highly productive, consistent player. He's got 81 sacks.
I'm not his production, Peter. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm just saying the money has to make sense.
That's the market. That's the market. That's how it is. That's the market that you're in.
This is going to be unpopular. I'm going to tell you. If I'm Jason Light and you want to keep your job, I double down on the offensive line, whether it be through the draft or it be through free agency first. That's where our money's at. Secure that side of the ball.
I appreciate the opinions. That's exactly what the show is about, Peter.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Harry. All right, Tristan, anything else here, my friend?
Yeah, and just we have to follow the money. I know the defense has glaring holes on it, but it's not going to be fixed with one player in the draft. It's just not going to happen. You're better off getting a high-value lineman in the first round and hope. Cross your fingers that Todd Bowles can coach up some rookies in the 3rd and 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, that ain't going to work. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. Thanks a lot for the call, Tristan. Use the second call. Hold on a sec here. Hello? Welcome to the Sports Web. Stand by. Harry, go ahead. Give me some final thoughts, my friend.
There really aren't very many final thoughts. I appreciate everybody's opinions. It's great. The phone calls have been awesome. I love the interaction. It's not the end of the world. Peter and I are always going to agree to disagree.
Right.
But that's what this is all about, man. This is what it's all about. Some people agree with me. Some people agree with you. That's all I'm going to say. Peter, final thoughts? It's baseball season, baby.
All right, Harry the Great. Appreciate the time as always. All right.
Who's calling?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see here in a moment.
Let me hear.
Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Sports Web here on a Monday night after Mike Evans exits the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and signs with the San Francisco 49ers. Go ahead, my friend.
This is Mopar Bug, man.
What's going on, boss? How you doing? I seen your yeah, I know you're getting out of here, Harry. Listen, I know what you're going to say here, so go ahead and give it to me. With Baker Mayfield, you think that's the reason why Mike Evans signed somewhere else? Because you've been the guy that's put on Bucs Life media there every day, I think, about Baker Mayfield and how he's not a great quarterback and how he's overrated. So go ahead, give it to me, my friend.
Me? No, you might be getting me mixed up with somebody else. I don't too much harp on Baker Mayfield.
Oh, you know what? I'm getting you mixed up with somebody else. All right, so go ahead. I'm sorry, Mopar. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm more of the Jason Light draft pick.
Give it to me.
I'm that guy.
All right, my friend, give it to me.
My whole thing with the Evans thing. I told Peter Report earlier. You signed Chris Godwin to a bad deal. That's why you can't get Evans this year.
Okay.
I'm a stand on that. I said that last year. I know they said, well, they drafted Ibuka after they did the signing. That's great and all, but you had an idea that you may go with like receiver, So you shouldn't have signed that contract. That's 300 yards that man produced, a little over 300 yards.
Right.
$66 million contract. That's why you can't sign Evans. Coupled with the bad Zion contract, possibly an overpaid Winfield. There goes your money right there. So I get when they say, hey, well, it wasn't about the money. It was for the Bucs, because now from where I'm sitting as a fan, even if we could afford it, what does it do for us? Honestly.
Well,
it doesn't put us over. It doesn't move the needle. It's not. I mean, we're not that closer to a championship with re-signing them. We got too many holes on the defense. You still didn't address the D-line today, but you went out, you signed Cade Otton, re-signed Cade Otton, $10 million. Oh, too much money, way too much money. Could address that in the draft or found somebody cheaper.
Well, if you address it in the draft, you would be a person that would say you drafted number 15 Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not doing that. You have needs at the defense line.
I don't think we do that. I don't think we do that at pick 15. No. I think if you can hit on the test, there's a lot of tight ends that you can get later on. You hit on the test in the 7th round, you can get a decent tight end later on. I'm not saying spend first round capital on that.
Right.
But you know we need help on the defense, and instead last week you re-signed a punter that ranks 28th in the league or something like that, 25th or 28th.
Very questionable move.
$3 million.
Very questionable move. I agree with you on that. I
did that first.
I agree with you on that. One of the worst punters in the league last year. Yeah, absolutely. Not a good.
You did that first. Okay, we need help with the defense. Then you turn around. You do what you do today. I was the one that said don't resign Levante David, right? Because I'm like, hey, let him walk out. He's great. He's a Hall of Famer. We got to get younger, right? Well,
sure.
You do what you do today with the Alonzi. I think how you pronounce his name from the Lions.
Anzalone.
31 years of age.
Yeah.
You could have just if that's the case, just resign Levante. What are we doing?
Well, he's 31 years old. He's younger than Levante David, and Levante David still may come back, but Anzalone is a highly productive player for the Detroit Lions. Leader, tackles better in coverage at this point. It's not a bad move. It's not the worst. It's not the greatest move, but it's not a bad move at this point.
So let me ask you this.
Right.
If Levante comes back, is he depth or is he a starter?
It's a great question. I don't know. It's a great question for the Bucs. I still think they're going to try to find, his heir apparent. Anzalone is 31 years old. So again, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 years, and then at that point, you're moving on from him. And this is what I'm talking about. Your jobs are out on the line, and the window. They feel like the window is still, and it still may be open at this point. So you're trying to add veteran pieces. You're trying to get guys to improve that position. As we talked about, the Achilles heel of this team was, the linebacking core, where they're allowing the middle of the field wide open. So Anzalone will definitely help. You still have to address that situation, and you still have the impending retirement of Levante David. So they still have some work to do, and they'll be able to do that either in the draft or in free agency. We'll see how it goes. It's only the first day of free agency at this point.
It is, but when I look at my division foes, right, I like to think we get a C today when I'm looking at what the other teams is besides Tua. But when I'm looking around, if you think that we are contenders, $14 million on Gainwell, I mean, what are we doing? We need D-line.
Well, so you're getting a guy that was highly productive for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
Yeah, but I feel like that's a special teams thing. I know
it's not only a special teams thing, but it's a guy that had over 1,000 yards, had 1,000 yard scrimmage yards. Okay, so you're getting rid of Rashad White in free agency. All right, you're not signing Sean Tucker. You're trying to upgrade that situation. So you got a highly productive second running back, which you're not sure, once again, with Bucky Irving going into the season. You would assume that he's going to come back from the shoulder injury, but you've got another kid here who's an ascending player that you get for, a $14 million deal. Like I said, 2-year, $14 million deal. I mean, it's not a bad move.
It's not,
right.
It's not bad.
It improves your running back room at this point, right?
Yeah, we have the worst depth at running back in the league. It's not bad, but my problem is as a fan base and media, talking heads, all of us together, we can look at this team and know exactly where the holes are been, and they've been there. That's my issue.
I agree.
You ain't done what you're supposed to do with this defense since you drafted Villa. And I heard you earlier speaking about what he needs, how we need to build in the free agency. Jason Light needs to just learn how to start drafting a guy when he's there.
But what's the reason why you go into free agency in the first place when you miss on draft picks?
You're not even doing. You don't.
I
you don't
completely
have the money.
listen.
Let me not say you're not doing it. You don't have the money.
Well, you got to restructure
grab
some
what you
things.
need.
You got to restructure some things around. You got to get more flexible, and I think they'll do that in the next couple of days. And if they don't, and they go on the cheaper route, then we'll. Then I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, Joey Bosa. It'll be Joey Bosa. If you guys don't.
I'm not the biggest. I'm not the
see
biggest
Trey
fan of
Henderson.
Joey Bosa. I'm not. I don't know if that's the move at this point, but
No, that's what we can afford. I'm not rooting for it, but that's what we – Trey Henderson, I just don't see it happen. And not only that, I'm not beating the drum for a 31-year-old defensive end. Like, I get it. He is going to be a boost, but let's just be – like, I'm not doing
81
that.
sacks?
You should have – huh?
81 sacks in his career.
I mean, does he put his hands in the dirt? He comes from a 4-3. Don't we run a 3-4?
Adjust it. You got to adjust. You got to make coaching adjustments.
Man,
come on.
He's a nasty Nelson.
Got to change. You got to change. Listen, you got to. No, come on now. Do you say Michael Johnson? Did you say Michael Johnson? Come on now. I'm about to hang up on you if you say Michael Johnson. Now, come on. Michael Johnson, Ghost Johnson. How many sacks did he have? You better stop right now. 23 sacks.
I gotta twirl you a little bit.
I know
but
you
no,
do.
Man.
You do.
But honestly, no. But if we can't get him, because I did hear Dallas was in the running, then it looked like it could be a
Dallas is always in the running. They're in the running for everybody. They're in the running for media coverage. They're in the running for Super Bowls every year. They're in the running for everybody. If they really wanted to be in the running for something, they would have traded their two first round picks for Max Crosby. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And people go, well, you can't trade. Listen, the people go, you can't trade your first round picks for a guy like Crosby. Why not? He's 28 years old. He's a highly productive player. If you feel like you're close, that first round pick this year, you get a player that can come in right away. And then the year after, if you feel like you're good, it's going to be a late round first round pick. What's the loss, Dallas? What's the loss? And the Ravens did it. I don't know if the Ravens are good, but they're taking a chance. They're making a move at this point. And I hope the Bucs follow suit and make a move also. Mopar, what else?
Oh, that'd be all, man. I just had to chime in.
No, it's okay, man. So I appreciate you, Michael Johnson. Come on. Thanks a lot for the call. Use the second call, all right?
All right, bro.
All right. Yeah. The only thing that's similar to those guys is they came from the Cincinnati Bengals. I cannot believe I heard that tonight. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'll go out to Trevor. Trevor, use your second call. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking like you. I've been listening to the show since earlier. I think it's time for Jason Light to be aggressive. I'm seeing a lot of moves from these other teams.
Sure.
The Jason Light. I mean, his game time is now. The players they played the season, it's his season now.
Yep.
Like he's on the clock.
Yep.
And I'm with you 100%. I think we need to go get Trey Henderson. There's a rumor saying that he's fine with the Giants. Do you know anything about that?
I've not heard anything. I'm looking for that right now as we speak. Somebody put that out there, but there's nothing that's been confirmed. So I'm looking right now as we speak. I don't see anything at this point.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
So say that we're able to get Henderson, right?
Henderson, yes.
What would you do after that, draft-wise? Who would you go after in the draft if okay, say we got Henderson, and so okay, now we're heading into this April now, and then we go into the draft. Who would you target?
Well, I think you got to go for an edge rusher again. I think you got to get somebody that, in case Hendrickson does get hurt, you cover yourself. Even though you got David Walker and you got Yaya Diaby, I look for another edge rusher. I go and see if a Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, if he's on the board at 15. If you want to get real aggressive, some of those guys start to slip. Let's say Reuben Bain Jr. from the Miami Hurricanes, highly productive player. If he starts to slip, could you make a couple moves there to trade up a couple slots, a la what Jason Light has done with, by the way, Tristan Wirfs and getting Antoine Winfield Jr., Realtor David Zuzman? You guys forget about those moves, but those are the moves that help them win the Super Bowl. If that's what you got to do, I would say that. And if there's some way, and I don't think there's a way at this point, but Sonny Styles would have to slip down somewhere. To me, that would be the prototypical pick for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Former safety, instinctive. He's got the body. He's got the numbers. great player at this point, played at Ohio State University. Jason Light loves these type of players. That would be the perfect pick, but I just don't think he's going to make it to where the Bucs are going to be able to trade up and have to trade. You're going to trade multiple picks or something along those. I just don't see it happening. I think he goes top 5 at this point. If there's some way that he would slip down in that top 10, then I think Jason Light would have to make a call, and we'll see what happens. But that's what I would do. And then if that doesn't happen, then you may have to look at the best player on the board. And I don't think they're going to draft a tight end, but maybe it's a corner. Maybe it's somebody at that point. But I definitely think you have to address edge rusher or linebacker at the end of the day.
Yeah, the front 7 is specifically defensively.
Correct.
Because honestly, I like our back end. I think McCullum kind of took a step back, but I think that, given the fact that our front 7 didn't really perform well last year, we was able to get some turnovers. I'd be interested to see how well that secondary would play if we could generate a pass rush with that front 4 and see what those linebackers could do with a competent pass rush. But yeah, we just got to get aggressive. Like I get it. Like people want to save money, but I mean, I look at teams like the Baltimore Ravens, like what they were. They went out and got Max Crosby,
right? And
like they send. A lot of these teams are sending a message like, "Hey, we're trying to win now."
That's it.
And
and I think that's got to be the attitude. And I understand. You want to look to the future. You want to give up draft picks and this and that. Keep your team in good standing. But if the coach's job is out on the line and you're disappointed with what happened last year and what you've been able to do the last couple of years hasn't worked out, especially defensively, then you got to try something different. You got to go out there and get somebody proven like a Hendrickson, just my opinion, because again, Boye Mafe signed, Adofe Aouwe signed. The market is high at this point. I think what they're trying to look at, and Hendrickson is not signed with anybody at this juncture, what you're trying to look at is get his price down. We'll see what Jason Light, Mike Greenberg, the Wizards of one buck place, that's what I call them over there, can do with creating some cap and trying to get the value down there. And again, if he wants to play for Tampa, give him what he wants and see what happens and see if he can come in here and be that type of productive player, that pass rusher that the Bucs haven't had in a long time. They have not had that pass rush since, JPP and Shaq Barrett. And we're talking about a guy who had 81 sacks in his career. So he's a proven pass rusher. He can get after it. I would say that's the move you got to make. You got to be aggressive. Trevor, anything else?
Yeah, and then one more question. Shifting the focus to like offense. Now that we know Evans is gone, offensively, like what do you think the game plan is? Like, what does the offense, who's our focal point? Who's the player? Who's our new playmaker now that Mike is no longer going to be our playmaker?
I think it's Emeka Egbuka, right? I mean, Emeka Egbuka was a wide receiver number 1, and you didn't expect that from him. Trevor, appreciate the call. Let me answer your question off the air, and we'll get back to the comments in just a moment. I think it's Emeka Egbuka. He was, put in that position as number 1 wide receiver, and a lot of people, a lot of Bucs fans have a bad taste in their mouth from the second half of the year because either he was dealing with an injury or hit the rookie wall. Now we're going to see what this kid can do. That's the reason why you invest that first round pick in him. That's the reason why you invest a third round pick in a Jalen McMillan. You got Chris Godwin, who's been a veteran on this team. So it's not like the cupboard is bare, right? I mean, they got productive players. Tez Johnson showed something. You could still go in there and draft. I don't see them going in free agency, but who knows? Who knows what Jason Light is going to do? But and even Mike Evans' agent, and I guess Mike wanted his agent to mention this, and this should have been the dead giveaway, that even if Evans leaves, they still have the talent in that room. Let's go out to this man right here. We were going to get him on camera, but I had to go out to phone calls tonight. I know how emotional Bucs fans are. Mr. J.C. Allen, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. A day where a lot of Bucs fans want to forget, but the reality is set in. Mike Evans is no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He's now a San Francisco 49er. Welcome to the Sports Web here on a Monday night, my friend. Your thoughts?
That's crazy to hear. It's crazy to hear. And you know what this brings me back to, Peter, is when Tom Brady became a Buccaneer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Who's talking about it? And I find he's talking about it. But same emotions, right? Is like franchise player. He's a GOAT. He's, everything you could want in a player,
right,
on the field, off the field.
Right.
he won a championship with you, and now he's gone, and you thought he'd be there forever. It's a tough moment, and it's going to take a while to settle in, a while to get over it for a lot of fans. But what hurts the most, I think, is that he just didn't want to be here for a lot of fans, and I think that's how they're gonna get over it. They're gonna grab that to cope it and kind of turn on him for a minute. But he just didn't want to be here. The money wasn't crazy. The Bucs could have easily matched that or surpassed that, and I'm sure they tried to. If that's an indictment on Bowles, on Light, on Baker, on the organization as a whole, maybe. But maybe it's just as simple as he just doesn't think this team can win this year or next year, and he wanted to be part of a team that could potentially. He picked an interesting team, NFC West particularly.
Right.
They've got the Super Bowl champions twice with that defense. They've got the Rams twice. I don't know what the Cardinals are doing, but they're also going to have a pretty good schedule because of how high they finished in that division too. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out for him, and if what he's looking for is actually going to come true, or if it's going to be something that he looks back on with regret down the line. I know he's got a frame as a 3-year deal, but it's essentially probably a 1-year deal that they can get out of. Only that much money is guaranteed. So, maybe Mike becomes a Julio Jones and becomes a merchant at this end of his career, just trying to get another Super Bowl win to get that feel, get that high, that rush. Maybe he goes there and maybe he wants to play and he comes back next year. Who knows? But it's something that he wanted to try. Tom Brady coming down here and seeing that, and Julio Jones coming here and seeing that, and
right. I kind of mentioned LeBron James, right?
Too.
He's a fan of LeBron James. LeBron
exactly.
James, a paid assassin at this point, right? Goes to Cleveland, wants to make his brand bigger, has an opportunity to win a championship. He sees that with the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and also Kyle Shanahan. And give credit,
Kittle,
right? Kittle, right? When he could stay healthy, but Shanahan being able to coach. A lot of people would say the reason why, Evans went to San Francisco is because the Glazers didn't make that decision to fire Todd Bowles. Is that how you're thinking at this point, JC? Is that on?
Well, all that it's all speculative at this point how Mike feels until Mike really speaks, and we don't know how that will go down. My hope is he'll go on that podcast with Ryan Clark and those guys where they kind of open up a little bit and gives an insight on why he leaves, or someone's podcast like that. And if, it was just simple as fact as he just didn't think the roster was there on the offensive side or defensive side, or maybe it was Bulls. But I don't want to speculate and say that. But obviously there was a lot of frustration, especially after that Falcons game where he hustled to get back and they couldn't stop a 3rd and 28. Everyone's seen the video. Everyone's seen the clip. And that's really damning in itself. I don't know if they fired Bowles. I mean, there's going to be his 5th offensive coordinator in as many years. People forget that. They talk about Baker, but it's Mike too, another offensive coordinator, new verbiage, new terminology, new this, more running.
Right.
Zach Robinson's going to be, they're going to be running. Expect some hammies because it's going to be similar to Liam Cohen. So, maybe he just thought something different would be better. Kyle Shanahan is an innovative genius. He will find a way to get Mike Evans the ball in his hand. Mike Evans has shown he can do it in numerous types of ways at the X and the slot, at the Z. He can line in up tight and do some damage, and his presence as a blocker. And obviously, of course, his presence as a decoy, too. I mean, think of how much stuff that's going to open up for Christian McCaffrey underneath, especially when they get Kittle back and you line Kittle and Mike on the same side of the field. And then you throw a pass to George underneath and take those guys verticals and across the seam. It's going to be really difficult to defend that offense with Mike Evans with the threat they have underneath. So Mike's never played with anything like that either. Having a guy who's so feared that down underneath that, he's going to get some manufactured one-on-ones, and they're going to be there because Kyle Shanahan's going to do that for him. So I'm sure that's how they sold him. I'm sure they showed him film of how he was used last year. I'm sure they showed him film. If they did got that meeting or whatever, or I'm sure they talked to him or talked to his agent about it and be like, look, this is the way this is the way we envision on using him. We're not just going to run him out there. And if he's open, one-on-one, then we'll throw it to him. But if not, thanks for being a decoy. So it's going to be interesting to see how his offensive game develops out in San Francisco, and of course how the Bucs, right? Who steps up? In my mind, that's probably Jalen McMillan. But we'll see. But whether it was a lack of faith in Bowles and the defense or the roster in a whole or something, Mike Evans just wanted to change, and it could just be as simple he just wanted to change and to challenge himself. But that doesn't make it hurt any less for Bucs fans who wanted to see him retire with this team. Like, hopefully Levante doesn't get any ideas now, right?
Well, the comments lately would suggest that Levante's not done. Of course, coming off a knee injury, we learned that he had surgery in the offseason. He's rehabbing. Exactly, for a player that is rehabbing there. I don't know why you would rehab if you're not considering coming back. And from his comments recently, it would suggest that going back to Mike Evans. The whole point was some of the sticking points, if you will, the qualifications, quarterback, Super Bowl contender, offensive coordinator, but also volume. And I think that's what a lot of Bucs fans may be missing, and what we kind of missed is because the Bucs are so stacked in that wide receiving room. And then if that is his true intention of being a guy that's going to be in the top 10 eventually for NFL receiving yards all time, and he believes that that's going to secure his spot in the Hall of Fame, then he's going to get that in San Francisco. I don't know if he would get that, JC, here in Tampa, because and whether you have Zach Robinson or not, I think, look, a competent offensive coordinator can, find your guys and scheme, but still, this Bucs team has lots of talent in that wide receiving room. I don't think he would be the number one guy. Abuka could be the number one guy. McMillan, Godwin has shown when Evans has not been, healthy, that he can be the number one guy. Tez Johnson showed out. You have Cade Otton, but again, there's a lot of weapons here. So if the whole sticking point was, listen, I want to be in the top 10 all time, and I get that better opportunity with the San Francisco 49ers, then I get it. It makes lots of sense.
Yeah, that's true. All that adds up. And, if that's his goal, and what else does San Francisco bring that Tampa doesn't bring?
Right.
The market. I mean, he's going to be on everything there. I mean, he's going to be on all the fantasy talk about, CMC and Kittle and Evans, who's going to stop this offense. People are going to talk about it all summer long.
Of course.
And all that does is boost Mike up. And I'm not saying that Mike's doing that, but look at what Levante did this past year. Levante did more media than I ever remember him doing since I've been here. It's as you get to the end of your career, the twilight of your career, you're chasing championships. You're usually not chasing money anymore, unless you're Kirk Cousins. But you're chasing those things, those stats, those legacy things that you're looking for, and trying on a new team was something that he wanted to check off his list. He could be like, hey, I don't want to retire and not have the experience to go see what it's like somewhere else.
Right.
So I think that played into it too. But when you look at it in multiple facets, it's like at the end of the day, like, he's going to do what he's going to do. It's best for him and best for his family. And I know, we're fanatics for a reason. I was there. I've been there, especially when Brady left.
Sure.
I've since kind of reformed my ways and started thinking a little more critical and analytical.
You got
that
to.
just comes with the territory I'm in now. But,
right.
People will get over it. Some people will never get over it. Those are the people who are commenting on Facebook right now.
And we love you guys for commenting. We'll get to your comments in a moment. We're on with the great JC Allen. Where the hell are you at now? Because you're all over the place. I mean, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Sports Web. Once again, man, proud of you. Super proud of what you've been doing. You've been grinding out there. And I know you're coaching your son's team. You're doing podcasts.
Yes,
I mean, promote yourself, and then we'll get back to the Bucs in just a moment.
Yeah, so right now I've moved all of my content to one place. That's going to be X.
Okay.
So X has started a really cool thing where you can actually write articles on there. So I have started writing my own articles. It's really easy to access them, whether you're on desktop or your phone. You just go to my profile, JC Allen NFL.
Okay.
And there's a little tab if you slide over to the right that has articles. It has all my recent stuff. I have a free agency tracker up right now. I'm working on a day one recap as well. That will be out probably tomorrow morning, given the time. And I'm also doing my podcast. We went live today at Pirate Parlay. That's over on YouTube, but we also stream live on Twitter as well. And I'm doing spaces. They're called Bucs Breakdown. I'll have another one tomorrow at noon, kind of breaking down the first day and any action that happens in the second day, kind of what moves need to be made next as we go forward. So, yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. We'll see if I land with an outlet or if I want to join an outlet. I'm kind of really enjoying this, the freedom of it. It's a lot of fun. It's easy too. It's one-stop shop. If you're an avid X user, you don't have to click a link to go to another link and then ads pop up. It's all just right there, and then you just close it out and you go back to scrolling. So It's really cool. And if you're interested, definitely go check it out. Like it, retweet it, bookmark it all. Helps the algorithm, help me get in front of more Bucs fans like y'all. Helps get my content seen, and who knows what will come of it.
Yeah, there you go, man. And I never doubt you here. By the way, you got to get on my level there, kid, because I'm on TikTok now. So I'm proud of that. Get out to the
I have a TikTok. I have like 3 or 4 videos. I don't publish a lot.
I'm going live.
I don't do anything on Instagram either.
I'm
or
on
Facebook.
live on TikTok because I joined the Carter Agency there. Appreciate you there. And of course, Bucs latest there on the Fan Arts Network. So I'm trying to grind as much as you are. Let's talk about what the Bucs did today, because it's all been about Mike Evans. But what do you think of the moves the first day? Gainwell, the running back, Pittsburgh Steelers MVP, over 1,000 all-purpose yards when it comes to the ground and catching. Of course, they moved on from Rashad White. Surprisingly, didn't tender Sean Tucker. So what do you think about that move? And then, of course, Alex Anzalone, 31-year-old linebacker, good in coverage, highly productive player for the Detroit Lions. Leadership qualities there with Jason Likes. I mean, what do you think of these moves? I actually think you predicted Anzalone to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Correct, my friend?
That is correct. I put out my mock off season the day before, and that was one of my picks there for the Bucs was Alex Anzalone. I'd love if they would pair him with the other pick I put in there, Leo Chanel from Kansas City. He's still available. That'd be a perfect 1-2 pairing. While Anzalone has slowed down in coverage a little bit, he's not nearly as bad as some people have said he is.
Right.
He can also blitz. He's sideline to sideline, very instinctual. He brings the thunder. His nickname is Thor. He's got long hair. He played at Florida. He's home. With Leo Chanel, if they would sign him, that would give them that 4.57 speed sideline blitzing guy, still improving in coverage, but a beast against the run. And right there gives you a really 1-2 punch with Savassi Dennis and a rookie. I think that'd be an awesome tandem, but we'll see if they do that. That's a name to keep an eye on if they do sign another linebacker. So cover that one, I guess. But yeah, Alex Anzalone, I think, is a great fit. Kenneth Gainwell too. I mean, he replaces Rashad White, but he's, dare I say, better than Rashad White. Maybe not in pass protection, but as far as a receiver, he's and a running back. I think he's a more complete one than Rashad. You named that he was the MVP of the Steelers last year, so that was a big signing for them. I'm interested to see what the final numbers come at because it was reported as a 2-year, $14 million deal with $10 million guaranteed. It probably comes more into like that $5 million per year, which is a little more digestible, I think, especially after you spent $10 million a year on K. Dotton. But I think it was $10 million well worth it. I mean, he's one of those traditional throwback wide tight ends that can do everything you ask him to, and he can do it well. It's not like he can do one thing really well and he sucks in the other. He's a really well-rounded tight end. He's not going to be a burner down the seam by any means, but he'll get the blocking done. He's a beast on the move when he's blocking. Pick up those short yardage, make those catches away from his frame, and make the tough catches. Usually, how many times have we seen K-Dot make a catch with someone draped all over his back? Now, if we can convince him to try out gloves, then we'd be in a much better situation. But I think those 3 moves, coupled with some moves that they're going to have to make and going to be making coming soon, especially now that they're not, putting resources towards, Mike Evans' contract. And I don't think they probably sign a wide receiver. Maybe like a low couple-year rookie guy who's kind of not even a high-round pick, who's kind of bounced around with some size, because they're probably going to want to put some size on that roster. They only have Jaden Smith right now, who's above 6'3", so they're definitely going to sign some more size or draft. The draft, there's a couple guys in there if they want to go early, like Malachi Fields, Jacoby Lane, or the kid from McAllister from TCU. But the moves, I think that kind of shores up the skill positions for them as far as what they're going to do on the offensive side of the ball for skill players.
Defensively, I think the move they make there, because Boye Mafe is off the board. Of course, Max Crosby gets traded for 2 first-round picks to the Baltimore Ravens. You have Odofe Owe, who also gets signed. Trey Hendrickson. How much are the Bucs in this? How much do you think this? Do they got to make this signing at the end of the day? Because for me, I like Joey Bosa, but to me, Joey Bosa is not going to come in here he may make an impact. I just don't see it. Even at his same age as Hendrickson, but Hendrickson, 81 sacks. He's been a consistent force. I get it. The injury last year, 4.5 sacks, core injury. But still, to me, that's the move you got to make that makes everybody better on that line. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that's the sexy move, and that's the move that makes the most noise, and that's the move that also brings the fans back in. Like, okay, Mike left. We didn't let Mike go. Like, people can come to terms with that. It's easier to paint Mike the villain than it is. I mean, Todd's still the villain, and so are the Glazers, and to some people, Light is. But it's easier to shed a light on it that way. That Mike chose to left. All right, we did not pay him. We did everything we could. They used the words "desperate" on national television. Like, I can just picture it now. Come on, Mike. Like, we'll do whatever you want. Like, Zach's already said players over plays. Like, we've got it. We're going to go back to kind of Liam's offense. And I think that was a point when they talked to the media saying we're going to go back to more of a Liam Cohen style offense.
Correct.
That was an undersold pitch to Mike Evans. Like, hey, look, we're going. This is why. This is partially for you. Like, we want to meet your demands. So. It's going to open up some money for them to spend, and Trey Hendrickson is the guy. I just put a tweet about this about an hour ago, and I said there's about 5 edge rushers that I think the Bucs could potentially be in on. Trey Hendrickson, Caleb Von Chazon, Joey Bosa, Arnold Ibiketti, and Jadeveon Clowney. Of those 5, only Trey moves the needle as someone you maybe wait until day 2 to take an edge rusher. That's not to say there aren't any other edge rushers in this class that I would like for this defense, but they're going to require being paired with a first-round pick, in my opinion, and be more rotational depth players. I think any of those players that I named, and any players that are certainly out there that I didn't name, and even Arnold Ibiketti is kind of a stretch, but I do think he could be a good fit over here. They all require first-round picks. So you're signing Trey Hendrickson, and maybe you draft a guy in the 3rd round or 2nd round at edge. But if you take Jason, Bosa, Ibiketti, Clowney, you're drafting a guy in the 1st round. You have to. So that's the way I look at the Trey Hendrickson situation. Unless they make an unexpected trade for somebody, Rashawn Gary was already moved, but maybe Jonathan Grenard, maybe they kind of go into like a little panic and say, we got to get an edge rusher in here. We don't like the class. And that's something too that kind of jumped out at me. And I tweeted about that or X'd about it, posted about it earlier. But if the Bucs were very quick to make moves this afternoon. They signed K. Dotton really quickly. They signed Kenneth Gainwell. They signed Alex Anzalone. To me, that says that Gainwell and Anzalone were 2 of their top targets.
Correct.
And they those are the guys that they focused on, as well as Mike Evans. And they probably had a good idea before noon what was going on with Mike Evans, and that it was probably leaning more to him not coming back. That's what expedited the process with K. Dotton, I'm sure. I think Cade was like right under the 1st hour, right over the 1st hour he broke. So Cade would have had ability to have conversations with other teams if he wanted to, up to 5 different teams or whatever, or as many teams as he want. Teams are restricted to 5. He could have talked to all 31 if he wanted to. But I think maybe that kind of happened, and then they're like, all right, Mike is definitely leaving. Let's bring Cade back. All right, we got the 3 guys we want. And then obviously Hendrickson's number is reportedly outlandish. And after he saw what Jalen Phillips and
what is Carolina thinking? You want to talk about desperation, by the way. Jalen Phillips and people they crush Jason Light, but they don't have the same energy for Howie Roseman, who essentially gave up a 3rd round pick for Phillips, and Phillips went to Carolina for how much? Was it $30 million a year? What has Phillips done? Is he Hendrickson, by the way? Because listen, I can go ahead. And
he's younger, coming off an Achilles and an ACL tears in his career.
Right. I can validate Trey Hendrickson because he has the production, but this guy, he doesn't have anything.
But I can see why the Bucs weren't in on any of those guys with that number. Even the number Kwity Paye got was kind of a lot.
Well, it's the Raiders.
You look at Odafe, you look at some of these other edge rushers that signed. I understand why they would be out of that. And I think what they're doing is they're going to see who comes down, right? I think they'd be interested in signing any of those guys that I put out there, including Trey Hendrickson, but those numbers have to come down. They're probably the other 4 guys are probably at Hassan Reddick numbers, $14.5 million, while Trey Hendrickson is probably up to like 27, 30 million. The Bucs probably want Trey at like 20, 18, somewhere 22 maybe. And they probably want the Bosas and the other guys probably around like 11 or less. So until numbers come down, they probably won't move. And if numbers don't come down, they'll probably sign a lesser guy like a Josh Uche or one of those kind of role players who can come in and be a rotational depth guy. and then they'll attack it in the first round, and they'll hope that they can get something out of a first-round pick, David Walker, Chris Braswell, and one of those depth rotational guys, and Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby. And if they can't, then they'll be back at the drawing board next year, and with potentially having no choice but to lock Yaya Diaby up so they don't go into free agency needing 2 edge rushers. So it's really important for them to nail this move, whether that's in the draft, and they have to nail the pick. Lucky for them, this edge rusher class is really good, and they can find guys. They can even double up and be in a good position. But, I mean, that would probably mean moving off of Braswell and Nelson. So you keep 2 rookies, Yaya, rotational vet that you sign, or maybe you keep Nelson, and then you have Walker as well. You're probably not going to keep more than 5. So, yeah, it'll shape up soon here. We'll see what they do.
Let's talk about Bosa. Connect the dots season there, former defensive line coach now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you think that's the possible move? 31 years old. He was able to stay healthy for the majority of the year. Do you think that's a move that once again makes this defense better, or once again is he just a rotational piece? Because I remember Bosa about 5 years ago, he's never been able to stay healthy first and foremost, but when he's been able to stay healthy, he's been a disruptive force. Do you think what they're thinking is, we're priced out of this, we go with Bosa because he knows the defensive line coach, we got some intel, that's been the plan all along, we think we can get the most out of him, you're taking a chance, and then again you're double dipping with a rookie in the draft, which again, it's tough for edge rushers to transition over to the National Football League, and you need production, JC, this year. So do you think that's a part of their thinking?
I think, and I was actually writing something about this in a recap. I think Bosa is the most likely pick, and I think because of what you said right there is a big part of it, right? What he can be, what he does. He got 5 forced fumbles last year, led all edge rushers there, and he's got that relationship with David West. And I'm sure one of the first things that Bowles talked to him was, "How's Bosa? Is he still a guy? We need edge rushers. Can he still go? How is he in the locker room? How is our injuries? He's got the down low from him better than anybody. I mean, he's in the meeting rooms with that guy. So if Bosa, everything checks out, medicals, everything like that, and his numbers are astronomical, again, I think that's what the Bucs are waiting for. Prices come down on day 2. They come even lower on day 3 as the players realize that more offers aren't coming. Once the other guys or big ticket items are signed, they're like, oh, okay, I thought I was going to get flooded with other offers, people panicking. Sometimes that happens. A lot of that times for the players who think it's going to happen, it doesn't happen. So then they're back to the drawing board, and now they're negotiating with a team. And I think that's probably what the Bucs are waiting for with a lot of these players. But I think ultimately Bosa makes the most sense. It's a name that the fan base knows. Maybe not the dialed-in fan base, but enough that, we got a Bosa? We got one of the Bosa brothers? Like, people will get pumped up about that. You can put them on a banner. You can sell Joey Bosa as a guy to the normal fan, not the analytical Twitter fan or anything like that, but you can sell that as an improvement on your defense with a draft pick in the 2nd, 3rd, or 1st round. Like, we invested, and I think that makes the most sense to me when I really think about it is it just makes a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens. I almost put him in my mock, but I decided to go crazy and have the Glazers step in and pay Mike Evans when they didn't even have to. But if I didn't do that, Mike would have left, and I would have signed Joey Bosa, and I would have done other things. So,
well, there you go. Draft pick 15. Did they get aggressive? Could Sonny Styles slip out of the top 5, or is this combine basically?
He's not falling out of the top 10 after that performance.
Agree.
He was way undervalued before there. But if they wanted to go linebacker, CJ Allen is a guy that I took in my mock off season. He's everything Bulls loves in a linebacker, smart, instinctual. Think about Tyke Smith, but at a linebacker. That's what you're getting, right? Tyke Smith will probably never be an all-pro, although he showed some really Pro Bowl flashes, level flashes this past season before his injuries. But he's going to be a guy who's going to be steady. And, like, when I say steady, I don't mean Anthony Nelson steady. I mean, he's going to be a solid, steady starting linebacker for this organization for 10 years. He's exactly the type of guy you want. You might be able to scoot down and get him in a trade back, especially considering the Panthers, who are like one of the top teams connected to him after the Bucs. They just signed Devin Lloyd. NFC South is gearing up. There's blood in the water, and they're ready to go, which is crazy. It's going to be competitive. But, I mean, we'll see where we go with all this, and how it trickles down into who's available and who's willing to come here, because you have to think, like, if that's a big statement to the league that Mike Evans doesn't think the Bucs can win with him.
Yeah.
Why would another player think that they could win with him? Like, players are vain sometimes, and like I can be the turnaround piece on the defense.
Sure.
But we'll see. One other name I'd like to drop that I'd love to have them get, and it would cost a veteran minimum, is Jonathan Allen. The Vikings are going to have to release him if they already didn't make it official because of cap constraints. They'll have to release him. Yes, they will have to release him by Wednesday because of cap constraints.
Okay.
So, and they already owe him $8 million, so they'd be on the hook for that. So he'd come in at the veteran minimum. He can fill in for Logan Hall as a starter, but also as a rotational 3-tech, and even take snaps at nose. And he's a beast. If anyone remembers Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, he was a really solid player. He had a down year last year, but I think in a system like Bulls, playing next to someone like Vita Vea, who's going to command the double teams, and Yaya Diaby, I think he could really eat. And maybe that's intriguing to him because it's a clear path to a starting role, even though it might not be on a Super Bowl contender. It's still a divisional contender. They're not like the Jets who have no shot in hell. So that would be an awesome signing. If you compare Joey Bosa with Jonathan Allen, I think that would make fans happy because they're names, but I think it also really improve the defense. So, and then you dabble in some draft picks with it, and now you've got a remade front seven that's ready to go.
Final thoughts here, JC Allen. Appreciate the time. The legacy of Mike Evans here in the Tampa Bay Buccaneer, his career, his legacy. What do you say about it?
I can before I do, because I always give a little more. I would look for interior offensive line and defensive back to be two positions that the Buccaneers target in free agency. Someone who has center guard flexibility or tackle guard flexibility. And a defensive back that can play inside or outside, or potentially a safety, because right now the cupboard is bare with Jamel Dean leaving, and the only guys behind Winfield and Tyke, who both have injury histories, is Rashad Wisdom, Marcus Banks, and someone coming off an injury himself, J.J. Roberts. I doubt Christian Izzy is back. I doubt Sean Tucker's back. So just kind of keep an eye out for those type of positions and moves. If you're one of those people who like to look at positions and see who's available, that's where I'd start. Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans, the legacy.
The legacy. So I'll sum up Mike Evans' legacy in just a short story real quick. So Mike Evans had a bobblehead signing giveaway at Fifth Third Bank recently before the end of the season. And it was just like kind of an exclusive come in there, and I covered it, but I also didn't cover it as a journalist. I kind of just went as a fan with my son so he could meet Mike Evans for the first time. It was a no outside item event, so you couldn't bring things in to sign. But my son brought some cards. He wanted to test his luck anyway. So I said, you can try, but they'll probably say no. And of course they did when he got it. But, he got to talk to Mike Evans, take a picture, and it was awesome. And so I waited around because while I'm there, I might as well do the media portion of it. So I did the media while he hung out, and he came up with a plan that he was going to go ask him again, after he was done. I said, go for it, buddy. Shoot your shot.
Right.
So he went up to him and he shot his shot, and the staff that was there was like, no, he's not signing outside items. We've got to go. And he realized that was my son. He said, no, that's JC. That's JC. We're good. He's like, what's up, little man? And he got down to Cannon's level and talked to Cannon and signed the card and, talked about football for a second and, dabbed me up, left. And that's Mike Evans, and there's hundreds and thousands and probably millions of people who are in this Tampa community, maybe not millions, but probably thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, who have a similar story like that, whether it's in person, whether it's just the way he's impacted their life, the joy he's brought them. It sucks. It hurts. It's going to sting. It hurts more because he chose this. It's not like you couldn't, you chose it. You broke up with him. He broke up with you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he will always be a Buccaneer for life, even if he's in that Peter. He'll have a statue out here. He'll have his name in the Ring of Honor. His jersey will never be issued again. And he'll be in the Hall of Fame. And he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, regardless of what happens. If he wins 3 Super Bowls in a row in San Francisco, he is and forever will be Mike Evans, a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So that's what I have to say about his legacy, about the fans who are panicking right now. Just enjoy it from afar and continue to root for your team, because Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, and Tez Johnson are not a consolation prize. A lot of teams would kill for that kind of depth, would kill for that kind of productivity that can come out of it.
Right.
So, not all is lost, but they do need to fix this defense and need to make sure that it's good. Because if not, then, things are going to be changing next year. And maybe not just the coach. It could be the quarterback. It could be the GM. It could be veteran players like Chris Godwin and Vita Vea.
Yep.
It could be a lot of change and a lot of new wave and new direction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there's still a lot of importance left. I think Trey Hendrickson's got to be the priority if you can get that dollars down. If not, you got to shift and you got to do something that's going to make an impact and not just come in as a rotational depth piece. Someone who can come in and start and give you something along with a rookie. So we'll see what happens. You can find all my work over on X. I'll be doing a space live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. I put my podcast out. It's up there. We got a space from Sunday that we did with like 10 content creators and Bucs beat writers kind of previewing free agency. It's really fun. Go look at that and all my articles. Appreciate you having me on as always, Peter. And it's a sad day in Tampa Bay, but you guys will get through it.
Definitely get through it. JC Allen, appreciate you as always. We'll see you soon here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Peace.
All right. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to cut the phone lines off because I know you guys have been trying to get in. We'll take some phone calls before, but I want to read all these comments because I don't want to neglect you webheads out there. We'll go out to Instagram Live really quick because there was one comment, couple comments. It's Curbs. Big Mike said he wanted to rack up some tutties and catches before he goes out. Alex, I'll get back to your call in a moment. Sorry about that. That's certainly possible, right? The targets getting, again, Evans is a historian of the league. Okay, we know this. We know how important the 1,000-yard consecutive season was for him a couple years ago when the Bucs got him that. We know how important it was to him. So he most likely will feel like if he gets those targets from the San Francisco 49ers, he gets those yards that he would get up in that top 10 for all-time receivers, and then there would be no doubt. You would leave no doubt at that point that he would be in the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. So good stuff, Curbs. Let's go out to Mr. Camareri here. Mike's going to Disneyland area. I don't know what that means. Thank you very much for the comments. Let's go out to TikTok here. Brianna with a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond here on TikTok. Love that. Thank you very much for that. Let's go out to T-Win. It's D. Thank you very much for tuning in, D, once again. Peter, we miss you. I miss you too. Always here on Monday and Wednesday nights on TikTok. So definitely tune in, part of the Carter Agency right there. Now we'll get back to Facebook and all these YouTube comments. As once again, I appreciate all the phone calls. Appreciate the love tonight. I know it's an emotional night for you guys, so that's why I didn't have a lot of guests. We have more commentary and phone callers, and we'll continue to talk about this throughout the week. And I dare you, listen, I'm not going to pat myself on the back here, but I don't think there's a show out there that would give you nearly, over 2 hours commercial free to voice your opinion, to say what you want to say and take your phone calls. But right now, we're going to hold off on the phone calls, even though I got it up. I want to read these comments here because you guys, once again, the webheads, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. YouTube Super Chats are open for me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Go like and follow me and share there, and we'll be back maybe on Wednesday. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a show on Tuesday. Maybe I'll just say, you know what? I'm going to do a show on Tuesday. And of course, if I don't mention this, I'll get back to the comments in a moment. This is my new baby right here. You want Bucs content every day. Okay, well, I answered your prayers. Some people want me to go away and not talk anymore, but guess what? There's some Bucs fans who actually like me. Yeah, you really like me. It's called Bucs Latest there on the Fan Arts Network every day, 10 to 15 minutes. Now, call in. It's not like the Sports Web, but you get an opportunity to comment. We give you the 4 Bucs stories of the day. Lots to talk about tomorrow here, so definitely tune in every day, 11 a.m. on YouTube. It's a part of the Fan Arts Network. And oh, by the way, you like the haircut, you like the beard trim, you like a fade, you don't have to go far. It's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. Go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the fine barbers there at Up the Block Barbershop. And once again, tell them the Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, sent you. Now that that's out of the way, let's go back out to the comments because, again, I do appreciate you. I don't want to neglect you. I don't care if we're here all night long reading comments. I will do it, try to get to everybody's comment. All right, let's see. We need to address the defense in the worst way possible. It's on the scouts to hit on every defensive pick right now. Agree. Christopher O'Reilly, I'm hurt, Peter. I'm hurt. Never thought Mike would ever leave, but good evening. Good evening to you, Mr. Christopher O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Risa White. Jason Light got the tight end signing wrong. How the heck do we get here? Shaking my head. We better sign a defensive end ASAP. A good one, not a has-been. Agree with that. Let's go out to Carl. Country Buck Bradley, thank you very much for tuning in there on Facebook. Mike Evans, once a Buck, always a Buck. Agree with you, but the reality of the situation is now he's a San Francisco 49er, so you wish him well. And now this is the proving point for Jason Line and Todd Bowles to prove him wrong and prove the rest of the National Football League wrong. And it's not like the Bucs haven't done that before, right? Tampa Bay sports fans, we like when our backs are against the wall. That's when we respond the most. So we'll see what the Bucs do. We got you covered here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's go out to King Cook. What's good, Peter? Who's going to turn up first tonight? Who's going to turn you up tonight? Well, I'm always turned up, as the kids would say. I'm young and turned, I guess. I don't know. Turned up. Lit. I have no idea. I was lit tonight. I was pumped up tonight. I was turned up tonight. When it comes to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and talking about Mike Evans leaving the San Francisco 49ers, you know me. I don't like what has happened with Mike Evans. I understand that, Jimmy. Thanks a lot for the comment. Let's go out to King Cook 1485. Okay, Mike is gone now. Let's talk no Max and no Hendrickson. Now what? Well, Hendrickson is still on the board at this point, so we'll see what happens. So disappointed. Maybe Mike knows something we don't. Again, going back to it, he felt like, again, the 49ers were a better situation than the Bucs. And that has been shown. It wasn't just about money because the Bucs were willing to match it. So we'll see how it plays out. Lamar, my cat, said over and over again, you'll never leave the Bucs, but that's the same thing Tom Brady said. Think about it. Mike Evans goes to the 49ers. Tom Brady says if he ever comes out of retirement, that's where you would be going, to the 49ers. That could be possible, pairing up again. No. Not so fast, my friend. Minority owner of the Raiders. There's no collusion. There's nothing going on. The NFL wouldn't even allow that. Forget about it. It is what it is. Thank you very much. Appreciate the comment. Paul Wolf Johnson, wish him luck. Absolutely. Donisha, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. Let's go out to Justin Parks. He doesn't like the direction of this team. Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the reasons why he left. I don't like the direction of the Bucs either. I think there's a lot of fans out there who don't like it. The mid-level signings right out of the gate suggest the Bucs are not serious about winning. Alex says this is strictly because no one wants to play for Bowles. Say what you want, but the 3rd and 28 was for him. That's why he left. Levante David called, and I don't know if you like him or not, but he said he wouldn't have came back. He would have just retired if Bowles didn't come back. So that's one player. And that's possibly most likely a Hall of Fame player that wanted to play for Bowles. So once again, the hatred for Todd Bowles keeps on going on here on the sports web. Sadly, I must say, I always thought the day Mike left, I'd be damn in tears. He's been my favorite professional athlete in my life. However, today I have rage at our franchise than ever before. Let's go out to Bella Bell. Maybe this happens so that others in the wide receiving core can shine. We shall see. Certainly possible. James, MK13 leaving, says all it needs to be said about what he thinks of the direction of this team. 3rd and 28 was the end of the Evans era. Laugh out loud. Chris Cole says it's the direction of the team right now. Rob DePrez, he left for money and the deal is front-loaded 1-year deal. Ben Cornett from Las Vegas. I wish Mike the best. My opinion is easy to blame Bowles for Evans leaving. I put this on the Glazers. More than anything, they're the ones that kept Todd and signed off on it. I think Mike looked at where this team was ultimately headed and didn't like he has the best chance to win another championship with the Bucs. Money was definitely a non-factor. Alex, bro, no, he left because of toilet bowls. Ralph, surprise, super pissed. MK13 is gone. Chris Cole, he deserves the right to do whatever he wants. Absolutely. Bella Bell. Baker does love when the Buccaneers have a point to prove. Fire those cannons. We shall.
Fire the cannons!
Let's go out to Justin Parks here. They all got to work on their hands. Rob DePrez, Alex Dunster did not leave because of the coach. The team loves their coach. It's the fans always want change, but that leads to losing for years. Exactly. That's what I've continued to say. Again, Bowles has his faults. The record's not great. He's not great in the postseason. But I think that was one of the things. Again, the players play for this coach. You could sit there and talk about the second half of the year, but I think that's more of talent, not being in the right position, coaching. It's a multitude of things. Injury situation definitely didn't help. And again, a lot of people will say, it's an excuse, but it was definitely one of those things that you have to consider. Light and the Glazers aren't doing enough, probably won't do enough this year. Agreed. Let two amazing OCs go, then Glazers dump an entire staff 1 year later. Glazers are to blame. You cannot allow Dave Canales to seek, a coaching job with the Carolina Panthers. You got the opportunity. You applaud him for it. The Liam Cohen situation, they tried to make him the highest paid offensive coordinator. And people said, well, after 1 year, just make him the coach. Well, the Glazers have done that before. They did that with Dirk Cutter, and it didn't work out. And guess what? Even though he turned around the Jacksonville Jaguars with a 13-4 record and win the division, they're one and done. And by the way, Kyle Shanahan hasn't won a Super Bowl either. So there's no guarantee of all this happening at the end of the day, because the NFL is a not-for-long league. So, whatever you do 1 year doesn't necessarily mean it transitions to the next year. So, yeah, you can sit here and talk about how the Bucs have won the NFC South consistently. That's pretty damn good, considering 1 year you could be a playoff contender, the next year you win the Super Bowl, and then once again you can be a bum. So just let's see how this all plays out in 2026 before you just, put the nail into the coffin, right? My God. Let's go out to Brent O'Neill. I told you the Super Bowl team, we don't have a quarterback that can get to the Super Bowl. I know your hatred for Baker Mayfield. James Elliott, wasn't his deal 3 years, 42.4 with 16.3 guaranteed. I'm sure the Bucs offered that. He left to go win and add some stats to his legacy. Let's see. Better go get Hendrickson. Agree with that. Let's go out to Ben Cornett. I also say that with Gainwell and Anzalone getting only 2-year deals, these moves feel more like headed toward a rebuild than building for another championship run. Felt like a safe signings to me. Alex, the team loves their coach. Really, the S show said otherwise second half of the season. Rob, Mike has missed 12 games in 2 years. He's not worth that much money. James, this year is a throwaway lame duck season. It feels like unless Bowles gets a deep playoff run. Brent O'Neill, I guess Baker Mayfield got a new excuse. Mike Evans left, so that's why he's played bad. There's no excuse for Baker Mayfield. He's under the gun. He has to be productive. Whether the Bucs sign him to an extension or not, or he's got to earn a new contract at this point. So he's definitely under pressure, and he wants to outperform and show everybody that was an anomaly in that second half with what happened with the turnovers. I believe he was more injured than anything else. Just my opinion. Bulls last year in Tampa. Howard Duran, tough day. Absolutely. James Elliott, Peter, don't doom and gloom. I don't doom and gloom. I mean, maybe to a fault. I don't doom and gloom. I mean, the season hasn't started yet. You can play this out. We'll see what happens. Did you guys think there would be 6-2 at the start of the year? The expectations are high, but with all the injuries, did you think that? And then did you think the second half was going to be the way it was? I mean, you got to play it. Got to play it out. Let's see what the Glazers, let's see what, Jason Line and their, the organization has a plan going forward here. Exactly. I think the wide receivers are going to shine because they were afraid to step on Mike's toes. Tom Banner says Bucs in rebuilding, bear down. Alex, Mike's not mad. I'm mad. We kept Bowles and blaming an entire coaching staff, but going around the actual source of the problem. Alex, again, not mad. Mike left, but Glazers are going around the real problem. Bowles and the Glazers. Van House Life, fire Mike Evans. Of course, I knew that was coming. They aren't going to be aggressive this year. This has to be the Glazers' hands all over it. They're probably gearing up for next year. Makes no sense because you basically said that if Todd Bowles is you brought him back, then he has no chance if you're not making aggressive moves to improve this team in 2026. Makes no sense. Let me get that off the screen here because I don't know why that is on the screen still. Stand by. There we go. Okay. I don't know what happened there. All right. So continue to read the comments here. Stand by. Let's see. Okay. So we go with that. Rob the Prez, Alex Unser, the report card from the players for 2025 agree with what I'm saying. Yes, B-. Alex, Bowles and Light. Alex again. Of course they're going to say that. The last 8 games said otherwise. Van House Life, good. Send Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles with him. Yours true, Bigga. Hey, Pete and Greek, yours true, Bigga here for you. Sad day, but I expected this. I predicted the Ravens. My buddy, a Niners fan, called it, but he says the Niners are winning the Super Bowl every year. He was right. Well, the Niners haven't won a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan or Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo. So again, it's not a certainty, but does it make their offense explosive? Absolutely it does. Will they be the Super Bowl darlings in the National Football League? Of course it will be. They'll talk about it. Here's what we know. Mike Evans is a dynamic playmaker as he is. He's still got some juice there. Can he stay healthy? Will the hamstrings act up again? What happens if they have an injury to Brock Purdy? Mac Jones going to come in right away again and do what he did? Fantastic coaching job by Kyle Shanahan. Does that happen again in that tough division? There's still questions there. Hate to see him go. Absolutely. You're right about the quarterback. Yours true, Bigga, not about winning the Super Bowl, was right for once about Evans. Gretchen Griffith, this is just BS. Screw the Glazers and Bulls. Alex, agree with Harry Berg. Justin, Parks, agree Harry. Tom Banner, tell Gabby she messed up. Okay, I don't know that. Didn't say because he doesn't believe in the head coach in the organization. Nick, will be missed. Mike was the Bucs' best receiver, third down receiver, Bucs' best big play receiver threat. Wish he could have stayed best to him. Yours true, Bigga. He's not replacing Evans. That's not an easy task, but don't doubt our receivers, Greek. We have a good group. Too many mouths to feed. Godwin showed he was returning to form in McMillan. Sun Devil Dave, what about picking up Gainwell and Anzalone? We talked about it. Yours true, Bigga. Okay, I don't know. Okay, the dark horse, I agree. J-Mac, Godwin, Mecca, hell of a crew. Zach Jarvis, Evans knows he ain't winning nothing with Bulls. Clean that up. Yours true, Bigga. And don't forget Tez Johnson. David, it's not about money. That's chump change for wide receiver these days. Mike will get a roll of quarters after taxes there. It's about Todd, who is a dumpster fire of a coach. I've heard a lot of this tonight. Of course, Tag, like I think together, they're going to be really something to see. Tez, thank you. Exactly, says Alex. Justin Parks, they only really got 3 years, $60 million was to offset the 55% in taxes, 13.3 state tax, and 37% federal tax. The real number was probably 2 years, $27 million from the Bucs. Yours true, Bigga. Rashad White was pretty good pass catching back. They released him for the same reason. I feel they should have let Otten walk. He's good. He's not irreplaceable. My next point, Drew, we better make a splash in free agency in the draft because losing Mike would be all for nothing. Tom, Bears, $44 million under the cap, not in rebuilding mode. King Cook, 1485. What's good, Sports Web heads? Are you okay? Justin Parks, why go after Hendrickson when you go and get someone like Jonathan Grenard? Because you have to give up draft capital. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if they want to do that at this point. It would make sense. But then again, you get Hendrickson, you're going to have to pay the price, but you're not going to have to give up draft capital. What about the fourth quarter picks that Baker Mayfield threw the last of us 8 games? I get it. You keep on saying that point. Continue to. It's like a dead horse. I mean, that's the only comment you have on this show at this point. Baker Mayfield's a terrible quarterback. You're just going to continue to say this. It's like Van House Life. It's like you guys are twins. Van House Life, fire Todd Bowles, Brent O'Neill on YouTube. Get rid of Baker Mayfield. King Cook, 1485. We're going to be okay. We have to nail the edge rushers. Brent, we are tanking. Laugh out loud. Okay. Drew, Chubb is injury prone. No, thank you. Bella Bell, I agree. King, Van House Life, the Rays will win a championship before the Bucs do. Well, that's a stupid comment because the Bucs have won 2 Super Bowl championships and the Rays haven't won a World Series. So Van House Life, once again, bringing absolutely nothing to the show. I don't even know why I read your comments at this point, honestly. I really don't. Otten was and should not have been a priority. You overpaid him when Payne Durham could have done pretty much the same thing. And here I go again, utilize a tight end with a different skill set. Culp, King Cook, 1485 Buccaneer fans. We are officially in rebuild mode. Accepted. It's okay. I don't know how you're in rebuild mode. Like, they still got talent on this team, especially on the offensive end. You got to fix some pieces on the defense. Rebuild? I don't know about rebuild. Medium in between at this point. We'll see. They can get healthy. They're a different team. Rebuild? Rebuild is 3 or 4 wins this year. Rebuild is with a rookie quarterback or a veteran quarterback to keep the seat hot for the rookie. That's a rebuild. They got talent on this team. I'm not ready to say they're rebuild. Buccaneer fans were officially rebuild mode. Okay. David Tubbs. Chubb will hurt himself stepping on a pretzel. King Cook, 1485. Bell, what's good? Alex. Here's the truth, and this is going to piss people off. Glazers are too prideful to admit that they let Cohen go for bowls and screwed up. So to cover up, we're dumping an entire coaching staff, letting our wide receiver Hall of Fame go, and being cheap in free agency. That's the fact. Drew, Cade got $10 million a year. What are we doing? Bella Bell. Sometimes a rebuild is necessary, right? What's up, King? Van House Light. The 49ers just paid $60 million for Mike Evans to miss half the season with hamstring injuries. Deshaun Howard, 1746 there on YouTube. As a Buccaneer fan, that I'm still hurt about my boy Mike Evans. Tom Brady gone, Mike Evans gone, Jamel Dean gone. He signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, the writing was on the wall with Jamel Dean. Let's put that out there. When they had him restructure and he had a good year, he's been, again, in my opinion, wildly inconsistent, not being able to stay healthy. I had a good year last year. That's why he cashed in with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the writing was on the wall. When they signed Zion McCollum to an extension, when they drafted Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish, that's who they're going to go with. They're going to go with those young players. Let's see. As a Buccaneer fan, I'm still hurt about, it's almost, what is happening here? It's almost football season. Not yet. We got a couple months to go. Cade Otton, get his agent on the phone. Agent of the year for sure. $30 million, crazy work. King Cook, rebuild is fine. We have Tomlin waiting in the wings for a year. David says, the sad thing is when people think about Mike Evans, they'll think about all the other good things, but the main thing they'll think about is third and effing 28. They're already saying it all over social media. Listen, if people are thinking about that instead of thinking about what he did in his career, then you didn't watch enough of Mike Evans in the first place. You didn't appreciate his career. And the people on Twitter, I love you, Twitter. Like, I love you, Twitter or X, or whatever the hell they're calling it these days. But that stuff is absolutely toxic. So, sometimes you just got to, get away from the toxicity, right? You just got to stay away from it. Just remember Mike Evans for his legacy and what he did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with all, not necessarily the great quarterback, still being consistent. Think about all the records. Think about what he did with the community. Don't think about just the bad times. You can think about the bad times you want to, but there's plenty of good times to think about. There's plenty of good memories for those 12 years with the Bucs. Just, you put statements out there and, remember one thing, right? Remember one game. It's one game out of how many? All right. So, Bella Bell, let's hope this year goes by quick. David says, we're going to sacrifice the franchise for Todd, who's below average 500 career coach. Yours true big, move tight end that have been wasting away for 2 seasons on the bench behind Otton with 4.47 speed for everyone wanting to sign Likely or draft Sadiq. Yeah, one of those on the bench you drafted. I just don't think you keep on going back to this too. Like, I don't think he's done enough to show that he can be a blocker. Maybe he could be a pass catcher, but he's not a blocker on this team. And that's the reason why Cade Otton's production slipped. He didn't have as many touchdowns because of all the injuries to the offensive line, especially your 2 starting guards, right? 1 touchdown, and that was in the last part of the year versus the Carolina Panthers. 59 catches for the last 2 years. Former 4th round pick. That's why they went with them. I don't necessarily think they have that on the roster. Maybe they drafted. I don't think they think that that's what they got there with Colt. The dumb Bears just re-signed the garbage left tackle Braxton Jones for incentive-laced $10 million next year. Thank you, Tom, for the Bears update. This is a rebuild. Rather y'all like it or not. Love when you use the y'all. Facts. Let's go out to Deshaun. What is happening with my Buccaneers? We're losing all our players left and right. Todd Bowles has to go right now. They're not going to fire the coach. They're not losing all their players. He's not the smartest. He just agrees with most of the time. Yours true, Biggo. Well, to the Greeks' point, we did just go through this with Reddick, so that might give them pause. I think Hassan Reddick and Trey Hendrickson are 2 different cases. On point, Harry Berg. DE ain't even our biggest concern. Linebacking core is. Bella Bell. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different, isn't it? Laugh out loud. Deshaun. All of us Buccaneer fans can all agree that Todd Bowles has to go. We deserve better. King Cook. Oh, we all know Light is not going to trade up to the top 5 to 7 pick to get an elite player. He's been able to trade up before, and that maybe not in the top 5, but he's traded up before for Tristan Wirfs. I think you guys forgot that. They waited too late in the game at this point. They will be forced to go edge in the draft first round. Mr. Lumberjack O'Keefe, taking several over Jason. Justin Parks, the player has to be a scheme fit. Hendrickson may not even do well in the defense. Adjust the defense. Adjust the scheme. Instead of playing coverage with him, get linebackers that can cover the middle instead of bringing him out in coverage and have him just go after the quarterback. Simple. Very simple. Let's see here. All right. Man, you can't have a team full of 30-year-old players and think you're going to win. King Cook, Harry turned Peter up. Taylor Jean, they can draft me. They probably would at this point to get some help. 3rd and 28. I knew it was going to haunt us. I think Mike watching us give up, that shows that we weren't contenders no more after one game. Bowles didn't believe in outside pass rushers. Thomas says Claiborne, dang, almost forgot about him. Jeremiah Gaines Adams was what? Gaines Adams was what? Productive? 6.5 sacks? I mean, that's it. Eric Curry. We want to talk about Eric Curry. Adrian Claiborne. They have not drafted a pass rusher that was competent since Leroy Selman. I'm not saying you don't do it, but it hasn't worked out. And furthermore, it's tough for a transition for a young player to come in right away and be productive. Let's see here. Brent, the Bucs are not a Super Bowl team right now. I agree, Peter. We need Trey Hendrickson, the number 5 from the Giants in the trade. Zach Jarvis, Glazers brought back Bowles to tank. Quarterback and pass rushers. We have plenty of young talent that stepped up when Evans and Godwin were out. Heck of our 3rd string showed up last year when we were hurt. King Cook. No cap. He signed with the Giants for real. That is not a correct report. David says it's time to say it's the players or it's the scheme. We've been through many players. Maybe it's time to blame it on the scheme. Blame it on the scheme. Blame it on the coach. Blame it on everything. Blame it on the alcohol, David, if you want to. In fact, they need alcohol at this juncture. I understand where you're coming from at this point. They got to turn it around. If they don't turn it around, then it's over with. But it's not even the beginning of the year yet. It's only one day in free agency, and you guys are all ready to end 2026. Let's keep it in perspective here. Relax. You've got a long off season to go. Put your seatbelt on. Might be a bumpy ride, but we'll be okay. We'll get through it here on the Sports Web. Man, please let Mike Evans go. I told you all last week. Well, it wasn't my decision to let him go. It wasn't your decision, Brent, to let him go. He decided to go himself. So there you go. Might chase the bag, says Thomas Ferguson here, but if he thinks that's a gateway to another ring, that's a tougher division than the NFC South. Very true. Alex, no, Harry, it doesn't, bro. Mike takes cuts all the time. He does restructures, but he still gets that money. He's made 150-something million lifetime. And Cali, he's taking state taxes too. I don't think it was about money because how much is that $60 million going to be gone in taxes? Come on, Super Bowl winning quarterback had to pay 200-something thousand just to play in the game. It's Kirby. Greetings, Master Peter. Thank you very much for tuning in right there, Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Chris Cole. Glazers want to build to the draft and then sell the farm when ready to compete for a Super Bowl. Bro, after taxes, he's making just over $9 million a year. Tom, California is a joke. Real Berg native. Is it true? Mike contract $42 million, 16.3 guaranteed. That is the price. I saw the 49ers deal with Mike Evans is a 3-year contract that's worth $42.4 million with $16.3 million guaranteed. So there you go. Put him on the pitch count, David. Brent, it's not a sad day for me. Of course it's not. You want a complete rebuild. You want a new coach. You want a new general manager. You want a new quarterback. Then when it doesn't work out, Brent, you're going to get on here and say, I can't stay in this team because they're only a 3 or 4 win team. You think that they're going to be able to turn around overnight, and it just doesn't happen like that. Are there cases where it's happened? Yes. But more times than not, when you try to reset, rebuild, and all this other nonsense, you're going to get what you get. It's going to work out all in the wash. I can tell you, if it doesn't work out this year, there are going to be all kinds of changes. You Bucs fans are going to get what you want. You're going to get it. Some of you are just too young to understand it, but you will. You will if it happens. Let's see how you deal with it. Again, some of you can't even deal with winning the NFC South. That's not good enough. I mean, just spoiled. You're 5 years removed from winning a Super Bowl. Not good enough. You got to win a Super Bowl every year. Yeah, you start winning 3 or 4 games a year. You have double-digit losing seasons. You may grow some gray hair here. Just saying, you may want those playoff appearances that you were taking for granted. I know, Bucs fan, we should want more and this and that and the other thing. Okay, we'll see. Definitely is. Sam Bradford made $750,000 that Super Bowl, walked away with less than $200K. That was Sam Darnold, not Sam Bradford. Of course, he stole a lot of money too in his career. Congratulations to his agent. We still have a good receiver room. They should add a savvy veteran from some catches and leadership. Zach Mitchell. Thank you very much for tuning in. Mike Evans left because he does not have the confidence in this team, and that moves the moves that the management is making. Mike left for a team that has the best chance to win and compete for a Super Bowl. Hell yeah, he is. Kirby says Adam is friends with Mike Greenberg. Zach, last year's collapse left a sour taste in his mouth. Possible. Adam is reliable as it comes when he speaks Bucs. Real Berg native Alex Anzalone took less to come to Tampa. That he did. Goodbye, Mike, says Richard. Tom Banner, I'm not positive, but I read that actually lost money playing for the jog tax. Not 100%, but that's what I read, but you can't rely on any news these days. Brent says they added 2 Hall of Famers. Tom Brady was the GM for that little stretch, just like LeBron, because the shot caller from a player position. Thomas, you could sit here and say that Tom Brady was the GM at that point, but Jason Light was the GM, and Jason Light was the one who put together that team. Whether you want to give him credit or not, he made those moves. He made that team Super Bowl ready so Tom Brady could choose it. Again, give credit to Jason Light, BA, whomever you want to, but that was Jason Light. I know that pains some of you Bucs fans, but that's the truth. That was built through Jason Light, and BA had some say in that. But it was Jason Light. It was not just Tom Brady. Okay? Everybody's saying, glossing over, well, it was just Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the GM and he's the coach, and LeBron and this and that and the other thing. And by the way, when LeBron is a GM, he's not good either. Okay? He stinks as a GM because they get beat by the Spurs, right? Okay? And they also get beat by Golden State Warriors. So enough with LeBron being a GM. He stinks too. Jason also drafted a kicker in the second round. I get that. Yes. How many years ago was that? My goodness. Baker may not throw as many interceptions as Winston, but Baker will throw interceptions the worst times. The last 2 playoff appearances has ended with turnovers from Baker. Kirby says, Light has had us with a winning roster for the last 5 seasons. Everyone wants to... All right. Thank you very much for the comment. Let's go out to Brent. Jason Light sucks. Okay. Mr. Lumberjack O'Keek, facts. Again, the only player Jason banked on was Evans, Vea, Bucky. The rest are mediocre. Jalen McMillan is mediocre. Come on, man. Do I have to go through the list of players that Jason Light has been able to draft and develop and get? Oh, my God. Can't be all hits all the time. Right. Thank you, Richard. It can't be. Justin Parks, Tom Banner, the tax games, the tax practice, the team duty days there. If you step foot, work in Cali, they're taxing you for money you make while there. I know that because I drive OTR, make deliveries, and pick up. They tax the hell out of your money. Let's go out to Michael. If Mike Evans doesn't believe in the Bucs plan, even and them, it's a good point. It's a great point, right? But players have been wrong before. But it doesn't. It's not a good optic. I get it. Joining late, can't believe we lost ME13, kept Todd. Everyone at $1 get fired at this point. King Cook, 1485. Michael, that's how Bucs fans are going to look at it all season long. Laugh out loud. It is what it is. David says, this is what I don't understand, Peter. You say Josh Allen hasn't won squad. What has Todd Bowles won on his own squad? Well, again, people say, well, that was a bad pick by Jason Light. for Vita Vea, they should have had Josh Allen. Well, what I would say, David, is that Vita Vea, when he went 12, won a Super Bowl with Todd Bowles' defense, and Josh Allen still has won.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Nothing. Let's go out to King Cook 1485. We all know Shanahan can build a better defense than Bowles. Chris Cole Evans wants to break Rice's record in his former team. Joshua says, no, we can't keep blaming players. Who do we keep to retire as a Buck? I'm talking the best of the best. We always let them go. Thomas says Mike had a better shot of making the playoffs with us in the South versus going against Seattle and LA. Brooks, Joshua says this is why people don't want to come here. People won't even retire with this team. That says a lot. What people don't want to come here? Mike Evans stayed here for 12 years. Baker Mayfield wanted to come here. There's been plenty of players that wanted to come here. Tom Brady wanted to come here. What are you talking about? Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you guys forget? Rob Gronkowski came here. Antonio Brown, a sane Antonio Brown, and then he turned crazy, came here. You guys forget some of this stuff? JPP came here. Ndamukong Suh came here. What? Huh? Cade has a contract stipulation to wear gloves at all times, even at home. Terry Jones. Man, I'm going to miss my dog. Baker is not the answer, man. A lot of people believe in him. I'm not one of them. Tom Banner was there 12 years ago from LA to Seattle. Was there last summer. My God, how it's changed for the worse. San Francisco is just it's empty compared to a decade ago. Was unreal, just unreal. Joshua, I knew Mike was done after it's 3rd and 28. Go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
I told you, Peter, the last couple of years that Mike's been hanging out on the West Coast a lot in the offseason. I don't know. My life is over. M13 is gone. Elias, get a grip. What makes you feel he just isn't the answer? Nissan, man, I'm sick. I get it. Joshua, man, stop with the excuses for the franchise. Why is it we never make any power moves like other teams, but consistently let Hall of Famers walk? Joshua, they did. They did 5 years ago. They have in there. They've done it. They've done it. You guys forget they had 2 or 3 years where they went all in. Remember when Tom Brady was there? And now they have to deal with the consequences of that. Now you got to pay the piper. Again, you guys forget. You just forget. It's a selective amnesia at this point in Bucs Nation. Well, it was 5 years ago. Well, I mean, how many years did you try to compete there? How many years? I mean, after the doldrums. All right. Should we go to 2009 at that point? 2009 to what, 19? Is that good? And then you win the Super Bowl, and then you go all in with Tom Brady, and then you re-sign all the players. Like, okay. Devin Lloyd to the Panthers. Nissan says, feels like Sapp gone all over again. Well, feels kind of worse. James, Todd's fault, period. Brent, time to rebuild. Elias, I'm not going to work this week. All right, well, you got the money to do that. Go ahead. It's abundantly clear that Mike left because of Bowles. Hope it was worth it. Oh, and Mike is actually taking a discount for going to the Niners when you do the math. Joshua, it's disgusting at this point. Elias, get him off the phone. King of, what is this? Kings. Devin Lloyd to the Panthers. Yeah, Bucs not winning nothing this year. Pack your bags, Bowles and light. David, well, we're going to have to bring in a wide receiver. I just hope to hell with this great defensive-minded head coach that we finally get the defense we've been promised. Joshua, watch how the story plays out when Mike reveals all when he retires. It was Todd and his choice to remain mediocre in a subpar division. Bella Bell, did you ever think Mike also knew he was leaving his wide receiver knowing that he would be great? Peter, stop it. Our players definitely gave up. That was clear for us all to see. I don't think they gave up. I think they had injuries, and I think they weren't in the right places. I don't think they gave up. You're not getting your doors blown off. You're losing, games you should win against the Atlanta Falcons and the Saints. To give up is such a strong word. And I've seen teams where the players give up. I didn't see that. They were still competing. I know that's not good enough for some Bucs fans. I know you expect to win 49-0 or 56-0 every game. You expect to be dominant. It just doesn't happen like that. Bell, exactly. Mr. Williams, go Tampa Bay 13 for life. Risa, we have to coach better. We have to play better. Just getting ready to hear that all damn year. Elias, Mike was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kirby, hey, Brady left New England. You have to respect the game. Crowded on the IR. You know I'm right. Evans' injuries this past season is a sign that he's not what he used to be. We aren't losing anything big. He won't do squat in San Francisco. Interesting. We are fire Bulls. Michael Walker, correct about C-Mac getting the ball more in San Francisco. If Ibuka doesn't become the guy, this blows up in everyone's face worse than it already is. Michael, Jason Line firing sucks. Alex, so true. Signing McCollum, what a joke. Michael, firing exactly the caller. Elias, get Mike back. Not happening. Light isn't all that. End of story. Elias, my life is over. Tulio, it's sad that you'd rather overpay the punter and the tight end than sign a defensive end. It's still early yet. Can we relax? We all need to actually listen to what Mike said. Remember, he's in the locker room. He talks to other players, and he said he wanted to play for a contender. So what does that tell you about the mood and the locker room? Michael, Jason gives Todd... and we blame Todd. But did he draft that? No. Joshua, what about Robert in the round 1? Peter, stop. Roberto Aguayo. They drafted him in the first round. When? When did they draft Robert in the first Roberto? We've gone back all the way to 2016. Damn, man. Damn. None of these players were drafted by the Bucs. Let's see. Mike. Stop talking about the effing Super Bowl. That was 5 effing years ago. What has he done since then? Signing McCollum to, they signed Antoine Winfield Jr., signed Mike Evans to an extension, Baker Mayfield, Tristan Wirfs, Luke Gedeke, drafted Bucky Irving, Jalen McMillan. Shall I go on? And yes, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl because, yes, he did play a part in that. And I think that's the reason why the Glazers are going to hold on to him, most likely, because he can make those football decisions and has been able the majority of the time to make the football decisions, whether you like it or not. The quarterback room is not elite by far. So-called elite Baker got hurt. Who was the backup? Teddy. We know Baker's moments, but definitely not. They definitely have to address that situation and could address that situation in free agency, possibly a Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe a 1-year, $3 million deal. Could definitely get that done. The Super Bowl roster only happened because of Brady. Bullspit. As one sports broadcaster used to say, bullspit. That's not true. And for you to put that narrative out there all the time, and for some Bucs fans, is completely naive. That's moronic. It didn't just happen because of Brady. The roster was already here. You already had a defense here. The thing you were missing was the quarterback, which is why you went behind door number 2 with Tom Brady. I'm just putting the facts out there. You can call me a fanboy or call me whatever the hell you want to, but look at the numbers. The defense was there. That's why Tom Brady chose it. Not only because of the defense, but also the weapons that were here. By the way, Jason Light drafted Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Okay. Rob DePrez. Harry, the 49ers are old against the cap now. They acquired a 33-year-old receiver that has missed 12 games in the last 2 years now. How will this make them better? Michael, yes, he does, Greek. Joshua, the GM drafted a kicker round 1, folks. It's not round 1. We aren't going to act like Light puts it together frequently. Again, this is the NFC South. You didn't draft a kicker in round 1. That's fake news. Absolutely laughable to put this on Jason. You don't think Bowles has a huge say on who came to this team? Brent says, Baker ain't it, bro, no matter how you put it. Elias says, at this point, what can we do? Michael says, Greg Cole, no, this is the GM's only job. Joshua says they both can go. Great. Fire everybody. Baker throws picks late in the fourth quarter to lose games. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. That comment you've been putting out there for the last 2 weeks. I love the comments always. Bro, all we do is draft. Bro, all wide receiver do is draft. That's the point. All Jason does is draft. Tim, Harry needs to go to bed. It's getting late. Joshua, kickers that don't last in round. There's not been a kicker that the Bucs drafted in round 1. Stop with the nonsense. What about the Chiefs quarterback? Gardner Minshew signed a contract today. I agree, sir. Totally different offense in San Fran. You won't have as many targets in San Fran. I never said he would make them better. Elias says, wow, real Berg native. Along with 3rd and 28, Baker went 16 for 22, 203, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's numbers right there. It was, but not a great game. Peter mad because he doesn't like to be wrong. I'm not mad at all. I hate the fact that you guys throw out these narratives. Well, Jason Light had no way in winning that Super Bowl. He didn't make that team. He didn't make that defense. He didn't go and trade for JPP or get Shaq Barrett or get Ndamukong Suh or draft Vita Vea. You didn't draft Antoine Winfield Jr. You had no say in that at all. Not Devin White, not Jamel Dean, not Carlton Davis, not Sean Murphy-Bunting, not Jordan Whitehead. None of those players at all. None. It was all Tom Brady. Tom Brady was behind the scenes. He just like some of you guys on all these social media platforms. You're the coach, the GM, the Monday morning quarterback, the capologist. I have so many capologists on social media. It's amazing. I need to hire you guys so not only you can budget my bank account, but also my taxes at this juncture. Peter Blake is hot today. I am. I would have taken a likely over re-signing Otten. 3 years, $40 million. I think it's about people. Peter's a good guy. Peter gets passionate about this stuff. Some like Peter, a lot of time and money into this team. I get that. Understand it. He's right. Should have moved on from Cade Otton. Realtor David Zuzman, I agree with Harry the Greek. I think everybody agreed with Harry the Greek tonight. They should have let Cade Otton walk. Joshua, I'm hot today. I'll sock JL for letting Mike go. Okay. Why don't you talk the same way about Kevin Cash? Hell nah, says Alex. Let's see here. We don't even know if Baker can win without Mike. Well, we're about to find out. We knew that he could win without Mike in the first half of the year. Did he not go 6-2? Was he not a 13-2 quarterback with the Buca leading the way? Did we forget that? Oh, we did forget that. You Bucs fans forgot that. Oh, yeah, because you remember the second half. You don't remember the first half. You remember the second half. You don't remember Mike Evans' legacy. You remember the 3rd and 28, because that's what you guys want to mention. That's what you guys want to bring up. You're so negative sometimes. Boy, excuses for Jason Light and Baker Mayfield. I know. They should just fire everybody for you. Baker is going to be fine. He's got plenty of work to do. You know I'm right. Following LeBron James, NBA basketball is garbage. Realtor David Zuzman, you need to get involved in free agency when you keep throwing first round picks on JTS, Logan Hall. Barton Cansey, second rounds on Kyle Trask and Chris Braswell. The cope is real. Joshua says, man, we don't know if Todd can effing win the NFC South. I've been a Bucs fan too long to see when this season is going already. King Cook, laugh out loud. Light and the Glazers can't run from this. The only thing that will erase this is winning and winning big. If not, get ready. Laugh out loud. Alex, that's the point. Too many losses over wins. Jason's a subpar GM who only relies on the draft. You're seeing it now. Elias, thank you. The Skyway has tall fences now. Okay. Be good there. Stay safe. I say we fire Mike Evans. I can't fire Mike Evans. He's in San Francisco, moron. The Greek said we need to fire Mike Evans. No, he didn't. You got to get into free agency when you make as many mistakes as we did in the last 5 years. Jeremy, everyone forgetting about Deion Sanders' free agency proof. What are you talking about, Deion Sanders? Okay. Better prove it because he still ain't proved he can win without Mike. He has in the first half of the year. Who's going to be the backup quarterback, do you think, this year? We'll see. Where is Ray? Not here. I agree with you, Peter. I don't think just Hendrickson is going to fix this defense. They got to make moves. Joshua should have drafted what needed to be done to keep Mike. The team will be a whole different team without him. Jeremy says, bye Greek. Wow. Bella, problem is old head. We can play the league minimum too. Van House life. The Bucs should hire Brent Abernathy for the new wide receiver. Alex, okay, thank you. Guess it's back to the Yucks. Go Yankees. Brent, that's me, Peter. Rob, we as Buccaneer fans watch the best of Mike Evans, and San Francisco is paying for what he did, not what he will do. Correct. Greg, yeah, he signs them, but if you think the coach sitting right next to Jason in that war room isn't saying who he wants, then that isn't considered. You're delusional. Of course he has something to say about it. I agree with you on that. Damn, CG Dill may have really killed us. Crazy. Van House life. Bucs are cooked next season. Brent. Van, they should. Brent, we are rebuilding. Joshua. Another L on JL. Bro, $60 million is $30 million in Florida. People are forgetting that. Van House life. Bucs should have never released Kyle Trask. Here we go. King Cook, 1485. Our first re-signing. The critical offseason was a punter. That said everything. Joshua, has Mike put out anything on X or anything? No. $60 million and $20 million in Florida. That wasn't about money. He doesn't have to be here. King Cook. Yes, the rebuild should be as clear as day now. Joshua. LD is not coming back now. Elias. This guy on the phone just made me feel better. Okay. We all know if Levante comes back, he's starting. Stop it. Laugh out loud. Michael. Anzalone is only a tackler. He sucks in coverage. I've heard the difference. He's definitely better in coverage than what the Bucs had last year. Kevin Cash would be a better head coach of the Bucs. That's saying a lot. Justin, he got burnt by Kenneth Gainwell, who we also signed. Laughed my ass off. Alex, if I looked at our division, we finished third right now because football is played on paper. Unless they make some crazy moves this offseason, it's a rebuild after next. Brent, Cook, that's the bottom line. Peter doesn't want to accept it. Alex, the caller is so right. Mopar Buck is spot on. Don't forget about Daquan Bowers. There's another one. Y'all bragging or bringing up some bad memories here. No, just keep on bringing up those memories. I want to remind Bucs fans who are so, what's the word I'm looking for? So spoiled at this juncture that they want to, they don't like to have the playoff appearances and win the NFC South. Let's bring up all the other bad memories. Let's do that. Watch how Max will immediately make the defense better. There you go. Mopar Buck, thank you. Brent, Peter, you want a team full of granddaddies. Plus Crosby fits the Ravens culture for real. Yo, JC, thank you for coming on. Light is not going to be aggressive. Y'all heard him say the draft is our bread and butter at the combine presser. Laugh out loud. He also said if the move is correct, he would make a trade or make a move. We ain't getting Henderson. It's a rebuild. It's Hendrickson, not Henderson. Breaking news, Matt Gay to the Raiders. Raiders going all in. Laugh out loud. Hey, Pete. Thank you, Teresa Neptune, for tuning in right there. Did you all see the video of McDaniels out there running routes with the players? We needed that kind of young mind and energy. Josh McDaniels, are you talking about him, the coach that got fired twice already? That's who you're talking about? We ain't winning now. This is not a Super Bowl team, Peter. Elias. Trey Hendrickson, elite pass rusher if his price drops. Elias again. Kayvon Chason, younger edge rusher coming off 7.5 sacks last season. Possibility. AJ Espenza, versatile defensive lineman who can rush the passer and play inside. Also from Iowa. Bucs like those guys. Jonathan Grenard is another one. Again, they have to give up draft capital. Won't we all say that Baltimore's a pretty strong organization? They gave up 2 number ones with ease. Why not us? Light and Bulls. Alex, no one is saying because if coaching, I mean, we all hated Bulls, right? We hired his son who has 0 coaching experience. That has nothing to do with it, but okay. King Cook, y'all tripping. Y'all think Emeka is not about to take over wide receiver 1. Stop it. The second half of the season was more about Baker than it was about Emeka. David says, I still think we need to bring in somebody next to Vita because Cansey is unreliable, can't stay healthy. Real Berg native. Jason Light's been missing since Anthony Collins, Michael Johnson. Chris Baker, he did sign Brady, though. He also signed Shaq Barrett and traded for JPP. Did we forget about those? Yes, we did. Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette. But those are Brady picks. I forgot. And traded for Gronkowski. But, yeah, it's all Brady. No Jason Light at all. Nothing to say about it. All Brady. Let's not Mike is going out there to ball. Don't be haters now. Elias says Adolphe Owe, another young edge rusher, just signed today. Sad knowing how Mike went out of slamming his helmet, yelling 3rd and 28. Shame on the whole organization. Elias says Sheldon Rankins, why he fits Tampa, great interior pass rusher, good rotation with Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey. Veteran leadership, estimated contract around 8 to 10 million possibility. Michael, Elias Rubio, he's gone. Elias again. Trey, we would like to spend $22 million is wild. Joshua, Peter, what do you think the first thing that needs to be done yesterday to get this team back where they need to be? Trey Hendrickson. Say it over and over again. It was around year 3. Mike was showing frustration when Winston up and downs. Baker had 3 years. Mike saw too many similarities with up and downs. He saw Winston and Baker. Ed, is the show over? It is not, but I'm just reading comments. No calls. Can I call in? No. I'm about to wrap this call up. I'll wrap the show up. Ed, call back. It's been 3 hours. Can I be your friend, JC? Spy Tech got Brady, not Light. We saw that on the documentary. Okay. Highlighting a deal. Jason Light didn't have anything to say about that. I forgot. That's God, man. Jason Light's just a mouthpiece at this point to you guys. Highlighting a deal with K-Don says everything you need to know. Jeremy says, EG call in. Still live. Alex, Bucs fans just got to realize we're headed towards a rebuild. It's why we're not even throwing Baker a contract. We got these double cheeseburgers, Mike. Laugh out loud. Joshua, BS. They did not do that with Mike King Cook. That's a Menace to Society reference for those who didn't get it. I get it. Joshua, if we don't think this was beyond money, it's wild, even crazier if we think this team did what they could have to keep Mike. Alex, Mike left because the front office gave him reason to. Joshua, it'll come out for sure. Give it a year or two. Real Berg native. Jason is 55 years old. He's won a Super Bowl, been in Tampa for 10 years plus. Maybe he's thinking, I made my money, won a ring. I'm okay with being fired because his plan this time around is shaky. Plan hasn't been able to play out yet. Let's see it play out first. Peter, you better hope the Bucs get Hendrickson, because if they don't, all this nonsense you've been defending in the front office is meaningless. Thank you. King Cook, bargain shopping Buccaneers. Laugh out loud. Brent, Cook, you ain't lying, bro. King Cook, light still waiting around, not showing much urgency now. It's been 1 day, guys. Relax. Past 1 day now. It's 2 days. We're in the second day of free agency as we hit midnight hour here. I'm about to wrap this up. I don't see us signing anyone big because players know they can still come to Tampa, get paid to barely practice and work for or easy lick. Brent, Cook, these Bucs podcast might be getting paid by the Glazers. Nope. But I like old Peter. I like you too, Brent. Lorenzo Styles, Joshua, that's my only point. Mike Evans has said he wanted to retire here. He saw the plan for the future and wasn't buying in. That says a lot. Alex, sometimes the fairy tales never come true. It's a part of life. King Cook, time to trade Vita, get picks while we still can. Joshua, it's deeper, though. It shows that he wasn't just about the money or something. Something wasn't going on. It was already has happened. Either way, best believe Mike's got an overview of the future plan and went to the Niners. It says a lot without saying it. Joshua, is Disneyland out west? Florida is Disney World. But on some real stuff, we're going to be able to get Mike's jersey for the low now. There you go. We let so many players walk. We have the saying, once a buck, always a buck. Shaking my damn head. Tim, I like that we picked up Anzalone. I just hope he stays strong. Joshua, Philly fans' intolerance for failure has fueled dozens of firing across Eagles history. They have 4 rings, just saying Pete. Well, the Buccaneers now have their 3-28 moment, like the Falcons that cost them a Super Bowl. The Bucs 3-28 cost us Evans. Well, still, the Falcons to this day don't have a Super Bowl. The Bucs have 2. So I'll take the 2 Super Bowls. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
There you go. Right there. Thank you. Joshua says, let's see what happens. Story of a Bucs fan. Dave, Bucs will be in rebuild mode after this upcoming season. Bulls will flop. Then the team will be blown up. Joshua, watch how much love Mike gets nationally now that he is in the Buccaneer. Chris Cole, San Francisco ain't winning the division either. Justin, but it wouldn't take a first-round pick, though. Sheldon, let's go Bucs. Let's go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
Sheldon, again, we are building still. Joshua says, no one should be hurt about Dean. The whole secondary is replaceable. It's accountability at the end of the day that it is. The only thing Hendrickson and Reddick compare is their ages. Stop it, folks. Dave says, no, they have 2, not 4. Roberto Aguayo, yes, 2 modern Daves. You know what I mean. King Cook, Devin Lloyd to the Kitty Cats. Laugh out loud, everybody outshining Light and Bulls on day 1. David, Spires was a good edge rusher. He's okay. He was a good edge rusher. He's decent. Greg Spires? We went there? Okay. Mike moved on, so I guess it's time for us to move on after the show. We will sign him again when he signs his 1-day deal to retire a Buck. Alex, Pats fired their head coach, hired Vrabel. Look what happened in the season. It can happen. Bucks 2025 offense tanked without Evans, 8 games out injured. With Evans, 25 points a game. Mayfield, 65% completion, strong red zone. Without 18.7 points a game, red zone stalled. Brent, I've been a Bucs fan for 30 years. Okay. Who knows? Maybe Mike leaving fires up this team because they might feel he gave up on them. Joshua, I watched too many years of Bucs football to hang on to one season. Thank you. David, somebody needs to tell Mike to go and try and buy a watch over there, have it delivered. David, I love Mike, but with him leaving now, he's the enemy. Joshua, but you're going back to the Super Bowl, bro. Stop it, man. It's almost midnight. It's okay to say. I'm not going to say. Peter's right about the Super Bowl roster. Had the team, but we needed a quarterback. Brady was the final piece. Gronk, Lenny, Brown were just icing on the cake that Light brought in. Thank you. Michael, I would like to get Jacob Rodriguez, certainly possible in the second round. Oh, was wrong. Not sure what I thought round 1. It was round 2, pick 49. Still wild. It's not Baker then. We're getting to play quarterback. Who's out there? Geno Smith. I'm just saying there's proof in free agency. Rob, we, the fan base, need to be better. Be great, Peter. Thank you. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
All right. Let's see. And last comment of the night. It could be as simple as we have plenty of wide receivers and there was only one ball. Let's go out to TikTok there. Thank you for tuning in. Mike Evans says Zeppeli right there. Legal Bad Cat, thank you for tuning in as always. I think that's my mom. Love you, Mom. Appreciate that. So we'll wrap it up there. We'll keep it down because the roommates are probably sleeping at this point. We went 3 hours. We'll talk more about this. We'll see if we go live tomorrow night. We may have a special guest. We may not. We may be back on Wednesday at 9 o'clock. You never know. It's always fluid here on the Sports Web. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats. 3 things. We'll wrap it up there. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of sports talk television. And as we always say on this show, to wrap it up, go Bucs.